gorgeous light beings, my healers, my star seeds, my light workers. Welcome back to my channel, The Pleiadian Priestess. Today's reading is going to be about what kind of legacy are you leaving behind, okay? It was a very interesting reading. I loved it. But first, thank you for joining me here, whether you are a returning viewer or a new viewer. I hope you enjoy your time here. If you do, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the tribe, even share if you feel called to do so. If you would like to book a personal reading with me ever, you can always use my email in the description box below. Reach out to me. We can have a little chat, and then, I'll tell you what's what, all that kind of stuff. But yes, today's reading is going to be about what kind of legacy are you leaving behind. It was very juicy, very interesting. I hope you guys love it. All you have to do is choose an option, group 1 through 4. You can choose 1 through 1 if you like, because I do think a few of them could have been connected in a certain way, or there was overlap, as usual in some of these readings. But without further ado, you're going to choose your reading. And as always, I will see gorgeous people at your reading. Mwah. Ciao. Hello, my gorgeous group 1s. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image 1, group 1, number 1, however you got here, welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me here today. You guys are so cute. Let me stop. Today's reading is going to be about what kind of legacy will you leave behind. Okay, so I feel like when I delve too far into the superficial kind of readings, I got to reel myself back in and do a more spiritual, guiding kind of reading, because that's why I also love being a tarot reader, to help people. So if you'd like to know what your legacy is going to be, you're in the right place. That's what this reading is going to be about. Now, legacy is not always about work. It's not always about success. It's not always about money, wealth. It could be about many things, which is why we're going to get into an ask spirit today. What legacy will you be leaving behind? Okay, you guys, your legacy could be that you're very cute, because I felt like in a very giddy, cutesy kind of mood. So maybe you're always good vibes, and that is definitely a legacy to leave behind. Whenever people were with you or around you, they were happy. I'm hearing they were fed. Okay. I'm hearing you breathe life into people. So you're just a very lively person, okay? You could be upbeat, you could be funny, you know what I mean? You could like to take care of people, because if you're fed, if people are saying they're fed, and that's the legacy you're leaving behind, you're giving people food, right? Okay, so let's get into, I swear I don't be needing the cards sometimes, but I just love using them. I love shuffling. It's just so therapeutic for me, okay? But yeah, those things came through. Let's get into the reading. That's what we're going to be getting into today. So if you like the sound of that, then climb aboard. You're a good leader is what I'm hearing. And I'm also hearing a song called You Were Good to Me. You Were Good to Me. I think it's by Jeremy Zucker, and I forget the girl's name that was in that song. But you are going to be known for being good to people, okay? Just being a good person in general. It's Jeremy Zucker and some girl. But if you just look up You Are Good to Me, Jeremy Zucker, I'm pretty sure she'll come up. So you've got enough details to figure out who else is in the song. I'll be forgetting her name sometimes, though. Is it Julia something? No. Okay, doesn't matter. Maybe you brush things off really easily. Maybe you don't really like to cause yourself stress, or do too much is what I'm hearing. I just briefly saw the Queen of Wands, but she was kind of in reverse. So maybe you were seen as someone who kind of stayed away from the limelight, who didn't really like being the center of attention. That could also be a legacy you're leaving behind. Okay, so Spirit, for my group 1s, please. What kind of legacy are they going to leave behind, my group 1s? What kind of legacy? Wow. You have the Moon for being a very private person is what I'm hearing. For keeping your business to yourself. I'm hearing for leading 2 different lives. This is what I'm hearing. For being very intuitive, for being very in touch with spirit, for being a moon, a lover of the moon, a moon lover. Is it called the selenophile? That's how I know that. I'm also hearing you love the rain, so you could be a pluviophile. Those are all things I resonate with being, which is why I know the names behind them. Okay, so you're a selenophile or a pluviophile. You love the rain, you love the moon. That's the kind of legacy you're leaving behind for someone who loves those things, or for being someone who people think of when they look at the moon, or, it rains outside, I think I like when it rains. That song is coming through as well, which was it was a very big song that was going around on social media. And it's also like a very chill really, I'm not melancholic, but it's like a very, I don't know how can I learned how to say the name and I forgot again. Is it 𝐓𝐿𝐥? 𝐓𝐿ْg or whatever, 𝐓𝐈𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐥. A feeling of being comforting to people, a safe place to land, soft, that kind of thing. Something people think of often with fondness is what I'm hearing. So that's the kind of person, the legacy you're leaving behind. People are going to be thinking about you with fondness, where they think of a rainy day. I'm also hearing you could be known for Twilight, child, is coming through. Because whenever I look at the rain or think of rain, I think of watching Twilight. That's the perfect Twilight weather, okay? So you were known for loving those things. Your personality was akin to the rain falling, the moon shining in the sky, that kind of thing. Moodiness is kind of the vibe that's coming through, right? Or things that bring us comfort. We'll leave it at that. So you could also, like I said, you could also be someone who's very secretive, who dreams. You were a dreamer is also what I'm hearing, but you could have been someone who interpreted dreams is also what I'm hearing as well. So you could have been a dream interpreter, that kind of thing. Someone who's always in your feelings. You felt very deeply is what I'm getting, because in this card we can see the girl like submerged underwater and she's like just chilling there. So you could have been known for like being a mermaid, okay? Or you consider yourself like star seed, or someone who came from another universe, someone who has been, I'm hearing, reincarnated in other universes, so an old soul maybe, that kind of thing. You loved being under the water. This is kind of giving me the 13th Year, which was a Disney movie. It's a throwback. But the boy always loved being in water. He didn't understand why until he turned 13 and realized that it was because he was a merman or a merboy, whatever you want to call it. And that's why he was so good at swimming. He could breathe in the water for a long period of time, but he never went through a full transformation until he became like 13. And that's when his mother came to find him and all that kind of stuff, okay? And you know what always pissed me off is that we never learned what happens after that movie. Like at the end of the movie, I believe he like jumps into the water to go be with his mom or something like that. And we never know nothing. They could have did a whole different movie about him learning, being under the water. Like y'all, there was so much potential. Like Disney's doing so much bull crap these days with movies and these constant repeats and live actions, and they could have did a 13th year too, okay? Or his 26th year, so we could know what he learned in his 13th year. Like they could have done so many things. They need me on their team, okay? So you could have known for being, you could have been known, or you will be known for being a deep thinker, or someone who is like very creative and comes up with a lot of ideas, okay? Or just known for someone who goes on rants, okay? That as well. But yeah, she's submerged in the water and she looks very comfortable there. Okay, so you could have been a good swimmer, okay? Water could have been a big thing for you as well. But this the black and white foxes like separated. I just caught a glimpse of the Hierophant, so someone who's very spiritual as well. But yeah, we have the white wolf and the black wolf, and it's leading to, like I said, split lives. It's giving Hanny Montani. You had a life in the spotlight, and you also had a private life that no one knew to come look for, is what I'm hearing. Because, Hannah Montana is a pop star. You never would have thought that she had an alter ego, Miley Cyrus. So maybe there was like a very distinct dark part of you and a light part of you that people think of when they think of you. That's the legacy you leave behind. But anyway, let's keep going. No one would have been looking at Miley Stewart and thinking, oh, she's Hannah Montana on the side, So that kind of thing. You could be living like I said, double life or a secret life, okay? I'm also hearing A Secret Life of the American Teenager. That was a very ghetto show, but I loved it. So I loved it, okay? My mom is the one who used to watch it. She introduced me to so many different things in my life, child. I'm grateful to her. She introduced me to Buffy. She introduced me to Charm. She introduced me to Ghost Whisperer. She introduced me to this girl at the American Teenager. She introduced me to my soaps, my General Hospital, and all that kind of stuff, where I had my first crush on Sonny Corinthos. That's still my man. I don't care in my mind, in my head, okay? He was a mobster, and what? That's my man, okay? Mind your business, okay? Leave me and mine alone. Let me stop. I'm done. But I mean, that's the kind of, that's that's the effect that a mother has on people. So maybe you represented a divine mother or a mother figure to lots of people in your life, and that's the legacy you leave behind. Because me bringing up my mom is not. And I'm also hearing my mom. What is that? Where's that from? That's from that movie Home. Yes, it's the movie Home with Rihanna and freaking Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. But anyway, he's like, my mom. He would always be copying her. But anyway, I'm done. But yeah, the fact that I'm talking about my mom and the fact that she inspired a lot of what I do, and she was also who she put me onto astrology. So yeah, everything that I am right now basically is because of her. If I never knew about astrology, I mean, someone else got me onto tarot readings. It was like a relationship thing, but you know what I mean? Not even a relationship, situationship type stuff. You know, when you hit that phase and you don't really know what to do, and you go to find a tarot reading, and like someone introduced me to tarot readings, and I'm like, what is this? This is a whole new world. I'd never heard of tarot before I started reading cards. I grew up not knowing anything about it in a very Christian household. And then all of a sudden I'm dealing with this person who's just, very ghetto indeed. And I'm like, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? Someone introduced me, my best friend actually introduced me to tarot readings. I'm like, what the heck? This is a whole new world. Where did you even learn about this? What's going on? But it was crazy. A whole new world had literally been like opened up before my eyes. I was watching the readings, and then I feel like I was resonating with a few tarot readers, but I like got close to one in particular here on YouTube. And then we became, kind of friends. And I would get readings from her, and she told me to pick up my own cards. I may have my own spiritual gifts and and the rest is history. I don't think I've ever told that story before. So maybe you're going to be known as someone who people like confided in as well. That's a legacy you're leaving behind. People felt very comfortable opening up to you because I don't like telling my business. I'm a very private person, period. But I'm telling my business, so that could be a thing, and it would be on par for course for your legacy because I'm feeling comfortable enough in your energy to be telling you stuff about myself, right? just prove a point right there. But anyway, yeah, and that's why I get introduced to tarot. But I was always a big astrology person, big into magic and practical magic. My mom also introduced me to. She introduced me to math stuff, so I'm not surprised that I turned into what I am today. But I didn't realize how much she influenced me. But anyway, that could be the person, or that's what you represent in other people's lives. You influence them, you help them find their deeper purpose, their higher purpose, that kind of thing. You could be a tarot reader, spiritual person yourself. I want to say spiritual leader, okay? I don't have all day to do this. Let me hurry up. Here we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so you are also giving a very youthful, grounded energy. So it's definitely someone who is, oh my gosh, who is in the world but not of the world is what I'm hearing. That's like a very religious saying. You can be in the world but don't be of the world, or maybe it's of the world but not, no, it's in the world but not of the world is the kind of thing that it's like a spiritual sense where you are living amongst people but you're not like getting lost in lust and gluttony and greed and sin. You know what I mean? So you could be coming through with someone who is definitely more innocent, or pure. Could be something coming through as well. But the pages always gives me very young, vibrant, youthful energy, okay? But even though you are young and youthful and pure and innocent, you're also someone with a good head on their shoulders. You're always grounded. You're not like far off into space doing these crazy things and not thinking them through. You're very like mature for your age is what I'm hearing. So you were always someone who's mature even when you were a young person. Whether it was a child or a teenager, you were always making like sound decisions. You always had like your head on straight is kind of how that I'm getting. So that's what you'll also be known for. What else is coming through? Please, Spirit, for my group ones. What kind of legacy will they leave behind? You could like be good, like you have a good balance, equilibrium is what I'm hearing. Like when people can like stand on one foot and not be fumbling and tumbling over, right? So you had good balance just in general, not like temperance balance. It's just good. I mean, that would be good. That could make sense as well. You always did things in moderation. I just saw a brief glimpse of the Ace of Wands, so that could definitely be important as well. You always had a bunch of ideas. Look, we have the King of Cups. Yeah, I'm hearing wise counsel. You are definitely someone people came to for advice. He's there with his little sound bowl. So maybe you heal through sound healing. You heal through talking to people hearing your voice. You could have like I'm hearing healing frequency in body, mind, and spirit is what I just heard very specifically. So in body, mind, and spirit, you're like all healing frequencies all the time. It's kind of like how some radio stations say, we're playing all 70s music all the time. You're giving all healing frequencies all the time. So that's why people feel like very cozy and comfortable and happy in your presence, right? Because you're a very emotionally regulated person, especially with this Page of Pentacles coming through. Definitely someone who's always like, you were never like swept up, you never got swept away. You always have, like I said, a good head on your shoulders kind of thing. And now we have the King of Cups. People feel safe with you emotionally because you feel safe with yourself emotionally. You weren't someone who was like dealing with a whole bunch of inner turmoil and a bunch of, I'm hearing guilt or internalized guilt or stuff like that is what's coming through. You know, you were healed, right? We all go through stuff in life, but you took the time with the Page of Pentacles to be a student of life and learn all the different things on how to ground yourself and become a whole person while still keeping your youthful air, okay? Because at the beginning, you guys were getting cutesy, so it makes sense. But with the King of Cups here, it's definitely getting a very mature energy, right? A very leader, in control, in demand energy, because the kings are the end of the court cards in each suit. So the King of Cups is the best you can get in the Cups suit, right? He's the most evolved in his emotions, even more so than the Queen of Cups, right? So you definitely coming through with someone who's very at peace, okay? And the water theme continues here in this card with the King of Cups. He's very much at sea on his own little island, surrounded by water and like unbothered. So maybe you're like an island unto yourself is what I'm hearing. It's like very secluded. That could be what this Page of Pentacles means as well, because she's in her own little patch of land, minding her business, worried about her money on her, you know, path, on her destined path, and she's not worried about what anybody else is doing. It's kind of like how you weren't like comparing yourself to everyone. That's the legacy you leave behind. You kind of cut out or chopped out on your own little path, and it was very much different from everyone else's, you know? And the example that I'm getting is how in middle school, not even middle school, that would be crazy. In high school, everyone was like smoking and drinking and partying and hooking up, and you were the kind of person that was like, no, that's not me. That's not going to be my life or my story. I'm going to be safe and wait to experience certain things until I'm more mature enough to deal with those certain things. Because yeah, when we're teenagers, we have like a lot of, I don't think I could relate to that, honestly. I don't think I had like a bunch of hormones that made me not able to control myself or my actions, or this impulsivity that made me want to drink and smoke and da-da-da-da. Like, I never had that. Still don't, honestly. But it's like you have this like rein on yourself, always a really tight rein, and it's not something that was ever like hard for you to not grasp, but to keep a hold of. It was always very firmly in your grasp, and it was never something you were struggling with. You had like a really strong sense of self is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. You had a strong identity. You knew what you wanted. You knew what you didn't want. You knew where you were going, where you weren't going. You knew who you wanted to be and who you weren't going to be, is the kind of energy coming through for you guys. And that's something that's like, people are like, wow, so you always knew you were this person. You never had like a crazy wild phase of sleeping around and drinking and smoking like all the other teens. No, I was very like chill. I was never interested in those things. Like, in the world, not of the world. You see how it's coming through again? An island unto yourself. Both of these things here. And also we have this girl under the water, you know, separated from everyone else. So like very much loner vibes could be a thing for you. That's my confirmation. If that thing don't shut up, how do you turn down the volume? How do you turn it off is my question. Because, please. I was hoping, there it is. I was hoping it wouldn't be making no noise today. And look, as I put the deck down to change that, we have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so you are definitely a mother to all. It doesn't matter if you were in the presence of a child or an adult or anybody. As soon as you were around them, you were taking care of them. It doesn't really matter who they were or whether you had any responsibility for them or towards them at all. You know what I mean? If someone needed help, you're helping them. If you see they need assistance, you're helping them. You know, if they need more food, you're getting them more food. They need water, you're getting them water. It's kind of like you take care of people in like small I'm hearing significant ways that make them feel like important and loved, in the moment, whether they mean something more to you or not, whether they're a stranger or not, is the kind of energy, so you bring this warmth with you wherever you go. And that's the legacy you're leaving behind, one of warmth. And like I said, people think back on with fondness whenever they met you. They could have met you when you were a child, teenager, adult, grown, elderly. It doesn't really matter. Every single stage they met you at, you were graceful. I'm hearing you were gracious. You were a gracious host. You took care of people. You were always kind. You were always, very patient, never judgy, to make them feel unwelcome, or you made everyone feel seen, is the kind of thing that's coming through, because the Empress rules all things like fertility and abundance and always being taken care of or provided for. It's the kind of vibe coming through, always having everything you need. So you could be coming through as this Empress that always has what everyone else needs, okay? And that could be tying into the intuitive nature of you, where you kind of already know what people want and you kind of give it to them. That can be a very heady, intoxicating feeling of being in the presence of someone who takes care of your every single need without them even knowing they're doing it. It's just something they feel and act on, right? So just always playing into that King of Cups and the moon energy, very strongly emotionally led is what I'm getting. And when my nose starts itching, that's confirmation, child, because it wasn't itching this whole time. Okay, I wasn't supposed to be here this long, but 3 cards in and we're 20 minutes in. Okay, here we have the 5 of Wands and 7 of Wands. Wow, I love how I only meant to get this card, but by me stopping to get this card kind of came out as well. So we have 5 of Wands and 7 of Wands. You're someone who's very competitive, who is always trying to bop to the top, bop the way to the top. Okay, you are definitely a Sharpay is what you're giving, but you weren't as, polarizing as she was. Okay, you were definitely a Sharpay. You were doing whatever you needed to do to get to the top. So you were seen as someone who's very competitive, okay? But then we also have the 7 of Wands, someone, like I said, an island unto themselves. And I love how this little visual we're getting here with this bottom part and then this ball she's in is giving crystal ball, okay? So definitely giving some spiritual energy coming through here. The oracle, the wisdom, the shaman, stuff like that. The witch. I'm hearing the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. But that's funny. You don't want to know how not disappointed. I don't want to say it and offend anybody. Not that I really, if you're offended, you're offended. But I was mad when I was like looking more into the Chronicles of Narnia, and I realized that Aslan represented Jesus, and I'm like, how anticlimactic. Because I think in like one of the movies, they were like, I'm always going to be with you, Aslan said to one of the kids, because they were outgrowing Narnia and they would never be able to either come back or see him again. And he's like, I'm out there in your world as well. And I looked up who was Aslan in the human world. They said Jesus. I'm like, oh, okay. Now you're trying to finagle religion into something that's supposed to be escapism and fantasy. How rude. Okay. But that's what's kind of coming through. I don't know why that came through. I really don't know why I completely lost my train of thought just now, getting it going on a rant. You see what happens? But anyway, yeah, that I'm like, you're giving, like I said, yeah, the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. You're giving oracle, stuff like that, medium, psychic, things of that nature. Okay. And that's also a part of the legacy you're leaving behind, okay? Which makes sense with all the cards you were getting. But 7 of Wands is definitely someone who's very protective of their energy, which is also tying back into that moon energy of being very private, right? So not everybody knew your life. No one knew what you went through, what was going on with your life, unless they were a part of your inner circle. And I feel like even then, it was very hard for people to get close to you in general. Because the 7 of Wands is always an energy. It's right after the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is having so much attention, so much success, so many people wanting your energy and wanting to be a part of your life. You kind of have to put up boundaries is the energy. And it's funny how I never thought of it that way until I'm talking about it now, because you just see, I sometimes forget that the minor arcana and major arcana tell a story until it comes through, and I think it has a time and a place, honestly. But the 6 of Wands, it comes right before the 7 of Wands, where so many people are wanting a piece of you, essentially. And the 7 of Wands, you finally having to put up boundaries and say, hey, stay back. Because we see her in this little globe, and then we see all these wands like kind of trying to come in, poke through her energy here. They're trying to get a piece of her, and she's like, nope, nope. So you're very protected. Okay, you could be like have spiritual protocols in place. It could be actual physical protocols. Do not disturb. Don't call me after 5 o'clock. Blocking people who are disturbing your peace, that kind of thing. You know, you're very good at that. That's the legacy you're leaving behind. Okay, now I'm going to be done with the tarot for right now and move into the Keepers of Light cards that I have. What kind of legacy are my group ones leaving behind? Please, Spirit, my group ones, what kind of legacy are they leaving behind? Commander Ashtar, and that's that leadership quality that's coming through in you. I kind of want to take that as well. Okay, you can relax. We're going to get one more card. Can I get one more card? What kind of legacy are they leaving behind? Jeez Louise. Why are you like that? Okay. So we have Commander Ashtar, call to action, take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. And that's literally this 5 of Wands, if we're being honest here, going after what you want. And then everybody, since you're at the top with this big fiery stick, everyone's now running, chasing behind you as well. And that could also, that's funny by how these two came out, together, because we have the 5 of Wands, people always competing with you, wanting to be better than you, to one up you, to you having these boundaries set firmly in place so they cannot get close to you, right? Because this is the 6 of Wands, or 6 Wands trying to, you know, infiltrate her bubble here. And here you have 5 of Wands, some people chasing after this one person, trying to climb up the ladder and get this fire, you know? So get your ideas, get your time, get your energy, and all of them are reaching for it, but we only have one person who's close to touching it. You know, I'm hearing Icarus flying too close to the sun. So some people like may want the power that you wield or that you have, right, or use very easily. But if they were to do it, it wouldn't work for them, because that's not their power to obtain. You know, they would be flying too close to the sun. Icarus wanted to know what it felt like to fly, but he wasn't given wings. He wasn't given wings for a reason. Him and his father weren't given wings for a reason. And the fact that they wanted to go and make their own wings just to fly to the sun, just for them to melt and burn, and for them to fall to their doom, means that some people aren't meant to do certain things. And when you try to force the subject matter or force the thing to happen, it always most likely leads to your demise. So it's kind of like how in certain, like, how can I explain? There's certain like shows, magical shows, I guess you can say. So for example, okay, I have a perfect example. There was this, you know, Charmed, I mentioned a lot, how the girls are witches, okay? The 3 sisters are witches. And I feel like it came through in the reboot and the most original one. So their body was literally born to wield and hold magic. There was this person who like came and stole their powers, and their body was like deteriorating because they weren't meant for that power. No, it was an episode where Prue gets stuck with the powers of an empath, and she gets them by freeing a demon who was cursed with the powers of the empath, because in his demon form, he wasn't able to feel any emotions, and he was cursed by an empath to feel all the emotions to the end of time. Prue came and thinking that he was an innocent to save, took those powers of empathy away from him. And for the rest of the episode, she's kind of like going crazy, and her body's betraying her, because while she is a witch and her body was meant to wield magic, right? She was only meant to wield her specific magic. She wasn't meant to wield the powers of an empath. So even though empaths were known as being human in their world, even though she was a magical being, she wasn't able to withhold those emotions, you know? And it wasn't until she kind of embraced them instead of trying to fight them and push them away that she was able to kind of wield them long enough to get rid of them in the end of the episode, right? So that's what's coming through. People who are trying to run after what you want, to do what you want, and take your powers and be you, essentially, could be something coming through, that they end up like flying too close to the sun and it ends up hurting them, you know? And that could be something coming through for you guys. And that's the legacy you leave behind, is being known as someone who carried an immense amount of power. And I'm hearing with great power comes great responsibilities, Spider-Man. And you were the only person who was able to wield those things. And I do feel like in those certain, like for Spider-Man example, in Spider-Man, for example, he was given the powers and he was bitten by this the spider for a reason. That was his destiny, his fate to become Spider-Man. Whether he wanted it or not, he was the one that was chosen. And because he was the best one for the job is the kind of vibe coming through. And spirit or fate or the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, knew that and gave him those powers specifically, right? Because I feel like the people in the lab who made this radioactive spiders probably wanted the same thing to happen to them, but the spider never bit them, or they never got powers from being bitten by that spider the way he did. So it's kind of like your DNA, your job, your ancestry, your powers, your destiny, your legacy is all something that was very specifically fine-tuned and chosen for you. And when people try to come and steal it, they can't, because you have this protective barrier around you. Is the kind of vibe coming through for you guys. But yeah, call to action is lead by example. That's the kind of thing that you guys are going to be doing. That's the legacy you're leaving behind. Okay. Who I'm talking too much. Here we have 𝐓𝐈𝐌𝐿, care and compassion, which makes a lot of sense because you're a very feeling person. We have choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved. Offer a helping hand. And this I kind of mentioned with the Empress energy coming through. You always know how to give people what they need, whether it's tough love, whether it's, caring, kind words, whether it's a good cuss out. I'm hearing whether it's a good return to sender, blocking of the energy kind of, and you always know what to do in the moment. Okay. And it's always done with a lot of thought is what I'm hearing. A lot of thought and precision. Okay. So 𝐓𝐈𝐿, interesting. I don't really get her that often. And here we have Lady Nada, Heart Awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. So you're going to be known as someone who, with your legacy, the legacy you leave behind, is going to be one of immense love, comfort. I'm hearing adoration, right? And I love how we have divine love coming through in this card here. And the Empress is divine mother. So she's the mother to everyone, to all. She gives what needs to be given. She feeds those who are hungry. You know what I mean? Because her reserves never run out, So maybe that could be something coming through for you. Your energy never runs out. Your kindness, your, like I said, patience, it never runs out. You're always understanding. You could be a true empath is what I'm hearing. And like I said, in the episode, Prue was given the magic or the power of the empath. She was the true empath, Because I feel like even if the power was given to maybe Phoebe, she was kind of an empath or became one a little bit later in the series, someone who could read people's emotions, I believe. That was her power. Or maybe it's the power of Maggie from the reboot. Her power was empathy as well. So she was able to feel people and read their minds essentially through their emotions. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of energy coming through for you. I feel like they would have been better if they were to be attacked with the power of empathy, because they're able to feel very deeply anyway. So it wouldn't have been that much of a difference as it was for Prue, who was very much the mascot for I don't feel anything, I'm invincible, unstoppable, very prideful person, And she was like, I don't want to feel anything. I just do, and push my emotions down. That's why it was so hard for her when she got those empathy powers. But for you, I do believe your legacy is like to be a true empath, to always see things from other people's side, point of view, even if they're wrong, even if you're angry at them, even if you hate them, whatever. It's like remind me of a post that I made on my channel where you could never truly hate someone because you can always see where they're coming from. Like, even if they did you the dirtiest thing in life, you're like, oh man, but I can understand why they did that. Like, you can see that point of view, whether you dislike them or not. Nobody's saying that you're going to be a pushover. It's just like, you can always feel things from other people's point of view. And there was some people in the comments like, that's not true. I'm like, if it don't resonate, keep it pushing. Like, I hate people that are just so annoying and want to give their opinion and be naysayers so bad in the comments. I'm like, shut the hell up. Nobody asked you. Really, if you didn't resonate with what I said, keep it pushing. Don't come and make I don't agree because that's just something. Oh, it's so good. I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter how many times I've been hurt by people. I can always understand where they're coming from. Did I say it was okay what they did? No. Did I say I forgave them? No, even though I probably did. You know what I mean? I don't really hold hate. It doesn't meld well with me. It's like somebody did me something. It's from the pain they're feeling. If someone ghosted me, if something was wrong with them, because I know ain't nothing wrong with me. Let me stop. I'm not perfect, even though I sometimes think I am. It's kind of like I can't truly ever like hate someone or hold contempt for them in my heart, because I know this they did something and it's coming from a place of hurt. You know what I mean? I'm hearing hurt dogs bite, or a hit dog is going to bark or yap or cry or something like that. So it's kind of like people who are, you know, triggered or always filled with trauma and not healing themselves. I'm like, I feel sorry for you because you're not healing yourself and you're going around hurting specific people. Once I see you do me one thing wrong and I see how you move and operate, it's time for me to remove myself. Am I going to go, you know, dragging your name through the mud? Am I going to go, you know, doing all this slander and trying to, you know, curse or anything, evoke spirit? Like, I'm not going to be doing all that because it's like, you're not worth it. Hopefully you heal, right? But I'm understanding enough to know that, okay, they are going through something, they're hurt. It's something like hurt dogs cry or bark or something like that, you know? And it's like if a dog is hurt and you come too close to it, it's going to bite or something, you know? And it's like, what did you expect from a hurt dog? What did you expect to lick your face? That kind of thing. That's the logic behind it, essentially. Like, what did I expect from an unhealed, damaged person? Did I expect love? Did I ever expect respect? Any, you know? No. So I'm not surprised. I can understand, but I'm not condoning it or giving it a pass. That's the kind of thing that's coming through for you guys, you know? That's the heart awakening, care and compassion, like call to action. So it's kind of like leading by example, for, you know, maybe for having some compassion for people, to helping people, to caring more about people is the energy coming through for you guys. Now, what legacy are my group ones leaving behind? We have Scarab, nourishment and transformation. So this like always gives me an heirloom or a brooch. So something that's like passed down generations. Maybe you could be someone who like passes down endless wisdom to generations of kids, of people in general. You know what I mean? And the wisdom you instilled in them, they're going to take with them on their life and give us to other people. And then it ends up being the gift that keeps on giving. Okay. I'm hearing, what do you call it? An act of kindness that keeps on going. And like, yeah, it's like how people say, I did something nice for you, now do something nice for others. That's the kind of energy you're kind of breeding as for your legacy. You did something nice for someone and you encourage them to help to transform and start doing and nourishing others instead, you know? People are like, no, don't give me back and the money. Just send it, pass it on to the next person you meet that may need help. I don't need anything back, you know? That kind of thing. One more card, please, Spirit, for my group ones. What will their legacy be? We have two. We have coins, luck and money. Luck and money is going to be your legacy. So you're going to have a legacy of being very rich or accumulating a lot of wealth for yourself. You're going to be seen as lucky. You would also just be hardworking, especially with the Page of Pentacles coming through. Like I said, you're seen as someone who may be young, always forever youthful, you know. Forever Young is a song that's coming through for you guys, as well as Young at Heart, which keeps coming through recently by Frank Sinatra. Like, do I have to do a reading about that song in particular? Because this keeps coming through. But Young at Heart energy, but you're still doing what you need to do and moving forward and making progress, right? You're not staying in like a very immature, stuck mentality for the rest of your life. You were known as someone who was always youthful, was always quick with a smile, was always quick with the joke, always quick with the laugh, you know? I'm hearing jovial for some of you. And here we have envelope, unfolding and surprise. So this is like giving me there's a surprise to be had in maybe your future, something that you don't even see coming, and that's a part of your legacy, something that you didn't even know you were going to get or amass or something like that. You know what I mean? That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from this. Or people are always surprised by you. It could be something coming through as well. An envelope is also like a letter. So maybe you leave a letter behind. I'm hearing posthumous. What happens when someone makes a biography or a posthumous, something like that, when a book or something comes out after the person has passed, like you win an award after you've gone, you know, like you win a Nobel Peace Prize after you have passed away and you've been gone for so long, but your work stays here and it's something that people are inspired by continuously, and you get all these posthumous awards or something like that. I don't know the exact word, but I know what I mean. That's what's coming through for you guys. You win like a Nobel Peace Prize or something like that, or a Pulitzer or whatever, but it's only after you're gone, but your work lives on is kind of the vibe that I'm hearing. And here we have old man, sadness, and female. So maybe you were also known as someone who's always sad. I don't know, but it's giving a loner vibes for you guys. And it's like not saying you're going to be lonely for the rest of your life. That's not the vibe that I'm getting. It's just like there's always a sense of like melancholy, because it's like you're carrying the weight of the world's sadness on your shoulders. And that is literally the least in life of a true empath. You're carrying around everyone's emotions, but you're carrying it well. But there's always a sense of like sadness to you, or, there's always a sense of maybe compassion on your face for others, that kind of thing, and the sadness may not be your own, but it's there. So even when you're older, you're still going to be feeling this sadness and compassion towards others, Okay, I think that's what I have for you, but let's see what comes through from this deck, and then I'll be done. Baby girl. Now they're gonna get that song stuck in my head. That song has been following me around recently. Here we have doors fly open. So that's that luck coming through here. With luck and money and doors fly open, you're going to be seen as someone who is extremely lucky, where things just kind of happen to them, maybe master, manifestor kind of vibes, Like everything always turned out in that person's favor, okay? Lucky girl, lucky guy, lucky person syndrome. But I feel like I was at the bar with my best friend maybe a week or two ago, and I don't know what song came on, but she started singing like, baby girl, I want us to go make a dance, let me see you twirl. I'm like, ugh. Just something about the way he says baby girl, I can't even say. Like it gives me a physical reaction of just like disgust every time I hear him say it. And I was like, ew, stop singing that. I hate that song. But then like on social media posts, sometimes on Instagram, somebody will post a video or something, and then it's like, who's calling my phone? Who's calling my, that part of the song was coming through. And I'm like, oh, okay, Drake, let me, you know what I mean? So I went to look up the song, and tell me why I'm on the bus this morning coming to work. And I add the Nokia song to my, queue. And then it comes on, I'm vibing, who's calling my phone? Is it Stacy? Is it Keisha's or whatever? And I'm like, okay, I'm vibing. And then soon I'm like, wait. And then before I know it, I'm hearing baby girl. I'm like, no! I'm like, I told her I hate that song. I didn't know what song it was at the moment, but also the way who's calling my phone is on social media. So is baby girl. And I didn't know it was the same song. And I was just so peeved this morning. I'm like, I can't even go to work in peace. That's the energy coming through. I don't know why that came through, but baby girl, that song keeps coming through. I keep hearing it. It was meant to say it keeps following me around, right? Who's calling my phone? And that part is all fine and dandy. It's kind of giving me how people say like certain songs or sayings, or the way people say stuff like scratch their brain in a good way. That part of the song pisses me off. It makes me upset. Like my skin like starts crawling when I hear the way he says that. I'm like, I don't know why, but it just upsets me. Okay, what will their legacy be? My group ones, please, Spirit. Their legacy. We have a win-win. See, yeah, win-win. Doors fly open. Luck, money. Yeah, I'm not hearing soft life. You could have ended up living a very soft life, but I do feel like it's giving lucky girl syndrome. Everything always worked out in your favor, and a lot of purple is coming through for you guys, as well as blue. So blue is throat chakra energy, and I was mentioning something about your voice. I do believe, if I remember correctly, your voice, the way you speak, things you say, that could be something that's very important. In your legacy, your voice, the things you said and taught, right? And then we also have a lot of purple, which is crown chakra energy, which is messages from the divine. So very tapped in, very tuned in kind of energy as well. So the messages that you receive from the divine, you then spoke, which is giving oracle, right? And shaman and stuff like that. So that's the vibe coming through for you guys, for the legacy you leave behind, your voice and your work, which is why after a posthumous, whatever you want to call it, a posthumous Grammy or Pulitzer Prize or Oscar or Tony, is giving me how, what's his name? There was the person who did Rent. I forget his exact name, but I was just looking him up the other day, and how he made Rent and how it turned into a big, huge success after he died. So he was winning awards for it and he was already gone. That's the kind of energy coming through for you, which is kind of sad, because it would be nice for you to receive your flowers when you're here, but I don't think you're the kind of person who would like to be in the spotlight in that kind of way, which is why maybe spirit could have orchestrated to happen after you pass, Here we have require skill and balance. This is what I was talking about. Everything wasn't given to you very easily, but you learned how to become a master manifestor, and that's a legacy you also leave behind, right? And people could end up finding your work or finding a book that you wrote, or your family, your child, your husband, whatever, friend could find a diary you had or a book you started writing but never finished, and they published a book to help others find some, I'm hearing worth or wisdom out of life. And it's like, you tell them it requires skill and balance, which is why I was giving. And didn't I say something here about you having good balance? Look, yeah, exactly. I said that earlier in the reading. You have good balance. It requires skill and balance. That's something you definitely teach people or something you learn along the way, and that becomes a part of your legacy, okay? And then at the bottom of the deck, you have jackpot, period, period, You're going to be rich. You're going to have money, right? And you could be the rich and have money that is like very low key, just like generational money maybe, or you're not going to be famous for something. I mean, you could be, but it's not giving like pop star vibes where people, your household name, and that's how you made your money. You could have made your money very quietly on the side, right? And people may not ever know that you were actually rich. You know what I mean? Whereas, or as opposed to celebrities, we know they have money, or some of them anyway. Not everybody that's famous is like rich. Most of them are though. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about how you may have wealth that is very kept well hidden, or you're one of those people in the limelight that has a lot of money, who made their money from the limelight, who's able to lead a very live a very private life, even though you have money and stuff like that. So people may never know that you are rich, right? You win the lottery one day and disappear. That kind of thing where you have a lot of money, but it's like not from being in the spotlight. It's like from accumulating a lot of wealth on the side. Like there's a lot of billionaires and millionaires in the world that we have no idea they're millionaires or billionaires, because they made their money very quietly and they're minding their business. They're not in the spotlight, not showing off their money. They're just, making their money and minding their business. Is the kind of energy coming through. And that could be your legacy as well. You made your money and that's it. Which is why with this unfolding and surprise, you could win some surprise money. You could win the lottery since it came through. But you could win some surprise money or inheritance kind of energy, and you had no idea you were going to get it. So that's like a surprise. You end up like rich or a billionaire or something because somebody maybe you did a good deed for leaves you a whole set of money. You're like, what? I don't even know this person. You know what I mean? Or I didn't know them well enough for them to leave me their fortune, but it could have been one good deed you did or one thing you did for them in their life that kind of changed it. And they're like, okay, that's the person I'll leave my money to. You gave an extra good reading to someone, or you were always there for them, giving consistently good readings to someone, or it was a friend of a family member who you were always giving good readings to. That's my confirmation. So whatever I said when that light cut off could be in fact the case, Lord. But yeah, that's what's coming through kind of. And you did one good deed for someone once upon a time and they remembered it and left you this whole big set of money. And that's something that is going to be a part of your legacy. But I guess that's my cue to go. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 2s. Welcome to your reading. I lost my chain of thought. Oh my gosh. Thank you for joining me here. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming here in general if this is your first time. Today's reading is going to be about what kind of legacy are you leaving behind. Now, the reason why I paused is because I was receiving a message. And I was like, should I say it right now or should I finish the intro? I got kind of like, I got, analysis paralysis, okay? So that could be something you're known for having. That could be a part of your legacy. I was already receiving a message before I even pressed play, which is why I was kind of like not surprised. Okay, so a few things coming through. When I was shuffling the deck before I started the reading, I heard fun. So fun and adventure could be the legacy you leave behind. That could be the thing people think of when they think of you, whether you end up becoming a big mega superstar that everyone knows, or someone that people just knew quietly. I'm hearing you're not quiet, okay. Understood, but you know what I mean. Someone that only your friends and family and, people who knew you well, co-workers knew, or you're some big pop star, doesn't matter. You're giving like fun and adventurous and you like to have a good time. You could sometimes be the loudest person in the room. You would like attention on you kind of energy. You're giving big fire sign energy. So Aries, Leo, Sag, that could be your sun sign. That could be your moon sign. That could be your rising sign. But that's what you're being viewed as, or even your midheaven, or your north node, something like that. But that's coming through. Then I started the reading, and when I moved, I got a whiff of my smell. And it's not a bad smell, so don't think that. I got a whiff of like my perfume that I put on this morning, and I'm like, I've been smelling it all day and I smell so good. Like, I love it. I got like a new roll on because scents are one of my things. I love to like smell good and like buy perfumes, and I didn't need any, but I went on a perfume spree on Saturday and I bought like 2 full-size perfumes, and then I bought like 4 roll-on oil perfumes, and I am using the oil, and I think it's like Good Girl by Carolina Herrera or Ferrera, whatever. I forget how to pronounce it, and it just smells so good. It smells so, I've been, see, no, actually it's a mixture. I'm not gonna lie. It's a mixture of Good Girl and it's a mixture of Maud Blush by Ariana Grande. So that could be a thing coming through. You could also be very flirty, because every time I think of Ariana Grande, I just think of a Libra moon who just loves men, child, and loves stealing people's. Let me stop. I'm not gonna say nothing about her against her. I love Ariana in like a music kind of way. Don't really care for her as a person kind of way. Never really did, but she makes great music. We can't lie. We can't say she can't sing. You can't say she's not talented, child. And that's kind of a conversation that I was having. You could be someone who's very easy to talk to. Group 1 was coming to the same way, but maybe you're also a little bit of a gossip, because what I'm talking about here has a tinge of gossip to it, okay? But before I forget, you smell really good, okay? And it was giving me how every time anyone talks about Rihanna and having met her in person, they always say she smells amazing, okay? So that could be something, a part of your legacy you leave behind. She always smelled amazing. He always smelled amazing, okay? And then another thing, back to Ariana Grande, she gives me Libra moon flirting kind of vibes. And there was something I was gonna say, and I forgot. Yeah, maybe you're known for like gossip and stuff like that. See, this is why I just continue on the rant, because if I don't, I forget what I was gonna say. We were talking about fragrances, Good Girl, Carolina Herrera, whatever, but also Ariana Grande, Maud Blush, MOD, however you pronounce it. Then I was like, okay, you could be giving a little flirty, because Ariana Grande is a Libra moon, and I always think of a Libra moon when it comes to her and how she'd be stealing people's men. Okay, now it came back to me. Thank you. See, just retrace your steps, okay? Let me say it before I forget it. I was going on a rant the other day, like a few weeks ago, about how it infuriates me how people who are just trash people can still be talented at the same time. So they could be the worst person ever. They could be the rudest, meanest, fakest person ever, but you can't deny the talents that they do have, or that they were blessed with, whatever. And it was reminding me of someone that I used to know who's like a very talented tarot reader. And it's just like, she just like switched up real quick and turned into the like, I don't know, person ever. And I'm like, is this even the same person that I knew? Like, it's weird. And I'm like, wow, you know. But I feel like her readings like came up on my personal YouTube, and I was watching a reading. I'm like, damn, it's crazy how people so just in real life can still be talented, because the reading was resonating. I'm like, damn it. Like, I wish that if you could be a trash person and not have any talent, or lose your gift for intuition and spirituality, because it's just, in my opinion, those things should not, you know, link together. But everyone can have a character arc. I have nothing against her, but it was just like, damn, like I had to think about it. I'm like, it infuriates me sometimes how people who are really just trashy and don't deserve any fame or fortune can still be talented or pretty or beautiful or whatever in any kind of way. And I'm like, your ugly should show on the outside the way you are on the inside. But that's where discernment comes in. That's why I'm grateful for my discernment and for my spirit guides and my angels who will be looking out for me, who put people in my path to let me know about other people so I can remove myself from the situation. They're like, oh, you're not there yet. This is before I even got to where I am now. This is like a few years ago. Somebody came, I'm telling all the tea, stop it. Yeah, y'all be gossiping, stop it. But somebody came to me about her and said, oh, this person's this way. I'm just coming to tell you. And I'm like, oh, really? And it opened my eyes. And I'm like, wow. Like, of course, deep down, you always knew something didn't always add up. But it wasn't until somebody came, like, kerplupped it in front of my face and said, hey, here's the receipts, here's the tea. This person just be lying about everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, I heard you. And then I removed myself, distanced myself. And I'm like, she just like made a whole 180 and became a different person. It was like, it's crazy. But anyway, that's enough of the tea, okay? And it's like a very well-known tarot reader here on YouTube, but I'm not going to say nobody's name because I'm not the kind of person, okay? But I don't know how well-known she is actually, because there's a lot of tarot readers on here that have like a lot of subscribers. But anyway, yeah, that could be something you're known for: gossiping, getting to the bottom of stuff, people always confiding in you and coming and telling you the tea. That's the kind of legacy you're leaving behind. Maybe even a little shady, because I was talking about a shady person. And Ariana Grande is a little shady as well, but she's also she's very talented. And I'm thinking about a bunch of celebrities who like have sketchy personal lives, but their business lives, career lives are like bouncing and booming all the time. So that could be something you're going to be known for as well. That person could be watching this reading right now. They would know who they are. I feel like, I don't know. But anyway, yes. The kind of legacy you're leaving behind. You're going to smell good. You're going to be a fun time. You're going to talk a lot is what I'm hearing. You could be like very attractive as well. But people are like, this person, I wish they weren't so talented, or I wish they were less talented. That's what people are going to be thinking about, you know? But anyway, let's come to the cards. That was a long channel, and I'm sorry, but also I'm not sorry. Here we have the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and we have the Lovers. Interesting. Maybe you were known for being a ride or die. Maybe you were known for being loyal, or maybe you were known for like holding it down is what I'm hearing, which is why I felt so comfortable like just airing out all that tea. That's something I've never spoken about, honestly, at all. That's why it kind of irks me sometimes when I see other tarot readers. When I stopped, I unsubscribed, blocked, I'm not interested in this channel and all that kind of stuff. Because when somebody upsets your piece, you remove them from your piece, okay? But it's funny how I would see other tarot readers on here like commenting under her stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what kind of person she is. Like, it just irks me. I hate that. Like, people who are giving all this, like, you know, I'm not knocking anybody else's shine or their success or whatever, but it's just like, I know who you are. And everybody's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, no, if only you knew. And the things that she came and told me and my friend group that met through her about this other tarot reader tried to slander, like, it is so much tea. But if I was a shady person, I would be out here airing people's laundry. But I'm like, no, that's it. Let's stop. You're definitely a gossip. Okay, guys, group 2, behave. You're definitely a gossip. People are just like, she always knew what was going on. She always knew the goings-ons, right? Or the going-ons. Okay, here we have the Three of Pentacles. It is coming out in reverse, so maybe you don't work well with others, or you work well with others. Who knows? Okay, so a lot of these came out in reverse. I think I'll keep them. I'm not sure. Because we have the Hermit in reverse, and that... I'm not even being that loud in the background. One of our friends in our friend group just had a baby, literally like probably an hour ago. And I guess they're on FaceTime with her and the baby, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? So maybe, like I said, things are always lively and exciting whenever you are around. So like I said, you were a good time. Maybe there's like a lot of drama surrounding you. That's the legacy you leave behind as well. Maybe it was drama that you, you added to. Maybe it was drama you started. Maybe it was drama you were brought into. But when you leave a legacy behind, when you're gone and people are thinking about you or talking about you, they may talk about a controversy or something like that. You know what I mean? A lot of uproar, talking, chatter, excited chatter as well. So like I said, some people do have some bad parts, but it doesn't make them all bad, right? And that could be something. You were seen as a complicated person. You had many different facets and parts of your personality, and some of them were troublesome, right? As everyone is sometimes, and then some of them were really great. You were also really talented and also really beautiful and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Or attractive, if you don't want to be called beautiful, because I felt the need to correct myself. But anyway, with you coming out as someone who's like kind of out of the box and very outgoing, I would say, or extroverted, I do kind of want to keep the Hermit in reverse, and that means I would have to keep everyone else in reverse as well. You could have been called a group 1 because we have a Page of Pentacles here, and I almost caught 11-11, okay? But I looked and saw 11-12, so missed it by the chin of my hair or the hair of my chin, whatever the saying is. So Three of Pentacles in reverse, you may not work well with others. This is giving me an energy of, I don't want to say it because they're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say it anyway, like fake kind of. This is just a legacy you're leaving behind. It doesn't have to be entirely true, but it's kind of like maybe when you leave or when you're gone, you know how when people kind of like pass, because this is your legacy, so it could either happen while you're still here, you're gone, how all these celebrities are being torn down now. The Diddy and Jay-Z, they were trying to come for him the other day. Kanye's kind of going through his own thing, and he used to be hot shiz, right? And all of a sudden he's kind of like going through his thing right now where he's just like out of his mind, you know what I mean? Ariana, she used to be, you know, the girl next door. Now she's out here ruining people's marriages, or allegedly ruining people's marriages, and you know, that kind of thing, and stealing people's man is something that she has been repeatedly doing, you know what I mean? That could be something. All those things come out maybe while you're still here or when you leave, and it's kind of like all your dirty laundry is going to be aired out after you're gone. So there is going to be drama and controversy around you. That's a part of the legacy you're leaving behind. It's not everything, but it's coming through. We have some good things, we have some bad things. That's just life, okay? But yeah, the Emperor is like a wannabe leader, someone who thought they were meant to lead, but it's kind of like you weren't. I'm hearing false prophet. Lord, Spirit is not holding back with group 2. I'm sorry. Take the good if you want, leave the bad, but that's just what's coming through. I'm not gonna lie or, you know, sugarcoat. Three of Pentacles universe is someone who thought they had a lot of friends, but they were like maybe working against or behind the scenes against those friends. So a fake person who wanted to come off as friendly but was really like catty and mean behind the scenes kind of energy, you know? So that's just how people are perceiving you. Do not take it too hard if it's not resonating for you, okay? The Emperor is definitely giving me someone who wanted to lead. Someone who had like a lot of friends but superficial, shallow kind of friends is kind of what I'm getting. So it's kind of, you know, leading into or reminding me of how they're just distracting me in the background. I'm so sorry. A new baby being born. Maybe you're going to live on through your children. That could be something coming through as well. People get very excited for your kids or about your kids, or when you have kids, that could be something. Or like I said, your kids leave behind a legacy as well. So you may not be the main part of the legacy, but your kids are going to leave behind a big one as well, you know? So it's like how some people were just meant to birth the Beyoncés and the Rihannas of the world, and some people were meant to be the Beyoncés and the Rihannas of the world. You're giving someone who thought they were meant to going to be a Beyonce and a Rihanna, but you were just meant to birth a Beyonce or Rihanna. It's what I'm hearing. This is the weirdest message. This is the weirdest channel. I feel like I've gotten weirder ones, but it's just funny to me how things come through, what things come through. But yeah, it's giving someone who thought they were the leader and in charge of everyone and everything, but it's kind of like you really weren't, you know? But yeah, anyway, now we have the Hermit in reverse. Someone who is definitely like fake. I hate the word fake. Fake, not woke, but like fake, insightful and deep, and someone who really, really wasn't, you know what I mean? It's just giving people air out your dirty laundry after you gone, child. So if you chose group 2, child. Group 2s, please, Spirit. My group 2s, what kind of legacy will they leave behind? What kind of legacy will they leave behind? You also have a Page of Pentacles, which I completely forgot. I, glanced over. A Page of Pentacles is definitely someone who's like, has a lot to learn, because the pages are always the ones who have no experience in the court or in life. When a page comes out, children as well, like I said, you're going to be known for a child is what I'm getting. This child could be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. That could be something coming through, because pages do represent kids, and that's what I'm getting specifically, because I'm like, how can I reconcile Page of Pentacles energy with what I've been getting so far? Okay. Jesus, look at all these cards coming out. Yeah, people gonna be chattering and talking about y'all when y'all gone. But like I said, you're still coming through as attractive and pretty, but it's like all those celebrities who had like their moment and they kind of like fell out and fell off the face of the earth, or they were tarnished, you know what I mean? There could be like a lot of drama surrounding you, and people always talking about you, your name in their mouth. Like I said, what they're saying could be true or it could not be true. I'm not the judge. I really wouldn't know. This is what I'm picking up on. Here we have the Star energy, and the Star did come out in reverse, okay? So there's something here about a lot of blocked energy. A lot of blocked energy. Maybe you were someone who never truly found their divine path, which means you were always stuck in a perpetual state of Page of Pentacles, starting over, trying something new, nah, not for me, starting over, trying something new, nah, not for me, starting over. So maybe you never held on a stable job, or you never found your purpose, or something like that is what's coming through. Like in a perpetual state of Page of Pentacles, right? You're smart, you have a good head on your shoulders, you know where you're going, you have ideas, you go after these things, but they never fully build into what you may have wanted them to be, which would be an Emperor upright, right? But it came out in reverse, okay? Now, if that doesn't resonate, maybe I should read the cards upright. Or just choose another reading, honestly, because I don't know what to tell y'all. Three of Pentacles upright, you get along well with others. We have the Emperor upright. And I think just the fact that I was telling y'all about all the drama and tea about a tarot reader that was on here is giving y'all gonna be caught up in some controversy for real. But like I said, if you want me to read them in reverse, I will. 'Cause I was getting for both, right? So upright, you work well with others. There's a lot of people you have probably built up. You see what I'm getting? I'm getting how you're always, oh my gosh, I heard those that can't teach, but those who can't, if you can teach it, you obviously know the work. It's kind of giving me how there are people who are vocal coaches for the biggest and brightest in the music industry, but you were never meant to be big and famous yourself. And it's kind of like always, I'm hearing proximity to fame. So you were always in proximity to fame and fortune by way of others, but not by yourself, you know, if that makes a lot of sense. The Emperor, someone has like a lot of accolades, a lot of things to be proud of, okay? A lot of things you were in charge of, okay? Because he has a kingdom, he has an emperor, he has an empire, not only a kingdom. A king only rules over one specific kingdom. Empress. Interesting. So we could have some women watching. An empress and emperor rules over multiple kingdoms, okay? This emperor is in charge of all the kings and their kingdoms. That's kind of how we can view him. So we have a King of Pentacles, sure, but the emperor is the one who is in charge of the King of Pentacles and the swords and the cups and the swords, cups, pentacles, wands. That's what I forgot. The King of Wands was not trying to be controlled. He's like, you're not going to say my name. That's hilarious. You're not going to say my name. And it's funny how I was talking about you guys are giving fire energy. That's you guys. No, this is not for me. This is not going to be my legacy. And that's fine. Take it or leave it. I'm not forcing you to accept this legacy. You can change as a person tomorrow and end up getting another group and changing as a person. Six of Cups is definitely being someone who's very friendly, who everyone feels comfortable around and safe with, okay? I'm hearing you ignite their inner child. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for you for sure. You were someone who you're not here anymore. You are someone or will be someone people feel comfortable like being their most wild and reckless selves with, right? Or maybe you're kind of like, these things are so rude. I don't know why Spirit is doing this right now. It's kind of like how you're in people's life for a season, but also a reason. So that's why I never understood about that quote. People are in your life for a reason and some are in your life for a season. The people who are in your life for a season were in your life for a reason as well. Just say some people in your life to stay and some people in your life for a moment, right? Or fleeting. Some people's presence in your life is fleeting and some people's experience in your life is forever. C2F. See, I'm the person that should come to for quotes, child, because that quote always like, some people in your life for a reason, some are in your life for a season. The people who are in your life for a season, I'm pretty sure they were there for a reason, to teach you something. But I digress. Let me not go on another rant. Anyway, that's what's coming through here. You are very fleeting in people's lives. You were there to maybe help them build them up or help them learn a lesson. But as soon as they learn that lesson, you were like torn apart from each other, right? Which would make sense for the tarot reader that I knew on YouTube. Is kind of like she's the person who I would get readings from. And she told me, you should start your own channel. Or you should start reading your own tarot, and then I picked up a tarot deck and now it's completely changed my life. But we're also not friends anymore. And there were some things that came out about her, like I said, that I'm like, oh, okay. And now you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, Spirit was like, hey, she was in your life to bring you to this point and now it's time for her to go, kind of energy, you know? Which makes sense to me. I'm not one to fight against Spirit, child. Never been, have been, never will be. It may take me some time to get there because I'm hard-headed, but I get there eventually, okay? That could be something for you as well. You're very hard-headed. But yeah, that's what's coming through. You're in people's life for fleeting moments, but you're never there for like forever. So that could be the kind of thing that people think about you when they think about your legacy, or that could be the kind of thing that comes to mind when people are thinking back on you years in the present or in the future. What am I even saying? Oh my gosh. Years in the future, when you're gone or when you're still there, they're gonna be like, oh, that person, I used to know them, right? Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Somebody I used to know. Now you're just somebody that used to know. You were never there forever, right? And that could also make sense with the Six of Cups being childhood memories and past energy, right? You're just someone they used to know. You kind of faded away, faded into the background, right? Okay, now we have the Hermit. If you were to read it upright, it's definitely giving very insightful, very deep, very solitary and on your own, which I already know. I mean, people who have fun, you don't let people get too close. That would make a lot of sense. So you go out and have fun, but you're kind of like the person who has acquaintances, not friends forever, which could rub people the wrong way. And that's why they're talking all this mess on your name. Or those things will resonate as well. Who knows? Like, I'm not going to sit here and question it. It's going to resonate. If it doesn't, it's not for you. Let it fly. Okay? I kind of feel like the people who are kind of triggered in some kind of way, it does resonate for them. They just don't want to admit it. The people who know it's not for them can let it go very easily and keep it pushing, right? That's the difference for me. When I'm watching or reading and something comes through and I'm like, that doesn't resonate. It goes away really easy. I don't really think about it, or it doesn't bother me. People who are triggered by something now, you obviously flick the switch in them. They don't want to admit that what you said was true. And now here they go, keyboard warriors in the comments typing up these big long messages trying to, slander the tarot reader. I'm just here to deliver the messages. It doesn't have to be true. I'm not saying these things about you. It's the message and the energy coming through for the legacy you're leaving behind, okay? And it would make a lot of sense if you go to the keyboard and start saying all these things in the comment section, because it would prove what these persons said right. Okay, bet. Next. Now, we have the star energy coming through, which is Aquarius energy, so you could be known as someone who's like very weird, who's very much in the stars or in their head a lot of the time, is what I'm hearing as well. The star card has recently been giving me like astrology, or not recently because it is Aquarius energy, and Aquarius energy is like all things weird, eccentric, alien, okay? So you were seen as someone people never fully understood and never got close to, which would tie in really well with that Hermit energy, okay? So see, I could read the cards in any way. It just depends which resonates for you, right? You're someone who's always in your bubble. People knew when they were a child, but then they kind of wondered, where'd that person, or when they were younger, and they're kind of wondering, where'd that person go? I haven't heard from them in a minute, or I wonder what happened to them. You know what I mean? It's kind of giving the celebrities, oh my gosh, exactly. The celebrities, where are they now? Oh God. I feel so bad saying this, but also not, because if it's true, then it's true. Like, I can't feel bad for telling y'all the truth. I really can't. But anyway, it's giving me the celebrities where people are like, I wonder what happened to them. Or the one-hit wonders, like the where are they now? It's like you had a time, right? There was a time and a place for you to be or to accumulate some kind of success, but then you kind of fickled or trickled into the background. And people are wondering, I wonder where my favorite childhood heartthrob is right now. And then that's why they have celebrities, where are they now? Because some kind of fall off. And that's kind of energy that you could be given. You used to be a star if you were to take it up right. But if you take it in reverse, you used to be a star. You're no longer one, okay? So it's definitely giving you did have some kind of eyes on you when people were chatting and talking, y'all. That's a big vibe that I'm getting. And they're saying a bunch of BS. It could be true BS or it could be not true BS. But a lot of gossip and chatter around your name and your legacy and what you came here to do and what you achieved and what you didn't achieve. That kind of thing. Now I'm feeling called to this deck here. Let's see what comes through. You could have kept a really small circle. Three of Pentacles is what I heard when I looked at the card. But it's really like an interwoven tapestry is what I think I was gonna say with that card, but I kind of got off track. Interwoven tapestry. So your life is interwoven with a few other people, like 2 other people. So maybe you could have maybe you were like ostracized because you were in a throuple. That could be a thing. And that came through because I was talking about how we have a bunch of keyboard warriors whenever it comes time to respond to someone's video or whatever, tarot readers. There'd be a lot of keyboard warriors for tarot readers I see. But there's this girl, or I don't know what she is, but there was like a reading that I did about your future spouse. And there was a part of it that I remember mentioning, you mentioning that you could end up being in like a multiple situation where you have like polyamory. That's it, polyamorous connection. And here she go in the comments, oh, I would never. Oh, and I'm like, then that part of the reading wasn't for you. What is so hard to understand about that fact? Like, it's so straightforward. Take what resonates and leave the rest. If that part didn't resonate, why do you feel the need to go to the comment section and say, oh, I would never be in a throuple. Oh, I just want one person. That part obviously wasn't for you because it didn't resonate. Like, it blows my mind each and every time. The human condition is what I call it. Because what is wrong with some people? Like, honestly and truly, I'm pretty sure there are people who could be wondering what's wrong with me. Or there will be some people or have been some people wondering what's wrong with me. But I truly wonder and worry for the human race. Because I'm like, what was so hard about take what resonates, leave the rest? Like, it's common sense. It's very straightforward. And you will still see people in the comments like, oh, that doesn't resonate, or, oh, you're wrong. I'm like, obviously not, because there's other tens of other people in the comments saying how right I was. So that reading wasn't for you, or that part wasn't for you. Like, bruh. It makes no sense to me. So, yeah, y'all my gossiping pods. I'm just like, some people, y'all will be with it. Y'all like, I know, I understand. Here we have wheels ending from the beginning. So you have like a lot of transformations through your life. So like I said, you could have started out as being a problematic person, but as soon as we kind of turned the cards over and put it upright, you like fixed things in your life. Like I said, the cards came out in reverse, and I kind of fixed them, put them in the upright position for you, right? And that's something you did with your life. So you could have started off pretty rocky, you could have started off negative, or not the best situation, or not seen in a positive light, but then you went through multiple endings and beginnings to become the person you will eventually become, right? And I feel like as long as people are talking and chatting, that means you're in their mouth. What is it saying? Like, no publicity is bad publicity. So even if someone's talking all these bad things about you, at least your name is still out there. And that's how some people truly think. And that could be how you think. Like, no press is bad press. Whether I'm being slandered or not, at least people are talking about me. And that could be the mentality you have. Because there's some people who do have the mentality, y'all, okay? My group 2s, please spare what kind of legacy they're leaving behind. We have turtle, slowness, and protection. I'm hearing slow and steady wins the race. So maybe you were meant to go on a long, drawn-out healing process. You know how some people heal fairly quickly and move on, live their life, that kind of thing. And then there are people who just take so long to learn one lesson that they're going to spend the rest of their life learning all the others. We have a slow ras turtle here. The turtle doesn't want to stop and smell the roses. The turtle doesn't want to learn. They're taking forever to do one thing. And that's why they're always going to be kind of like stunted, is the kind of thing. It feels so weird that I'm explaining this energy to you like I'm not explaining your energy. It's weird to me. Like I'm have like a very detached third party point of view. It's like I'm describing someone else to you, but also at the same time knowing I'm describing your legacy, if that makes sense. Very weird. Dissociation. You could be known for dissociating. And that's funny how I was talking about you could like be in your head all the time. People, you're never fully in earth. You're always up in the clouds somewhere else. People can never fully reach you. And it's funny how we have the hermit literally in the clouds. And I'm hearing In the Stars by Benson Boone. That song just keeps playing. And now you're in the stars and 6 feet never felt so far. Here I am alone between the heavens and the embers. Oh, it hurts so hard. For a million different reasons, you took the best of my heart and left the rest in pieces. That's a song he wrote about his grandmother, obviously, and he's like how he lost his faith and kind of like stopped believing in the faith he was grown or born into, because his grandma was like a very avid churchgoer and very Christian. And after he lost her, he was like, I don't even know if I believe in God anymore, because why would he take you from me? Which is something we all kind of go through when we lose someone, or when we're just in this perpetual state of despair and nothing's getting better. It's like, if there's a God up there, why would he want me to go through these things? You know what I mean? That's the kind of vibe coming through. That's what he was going over in the song, how now his grandmother's in the stars and he's never going to see her again, you know? And now he kept the $20 she gave him in a card. That used to be my song, child. But that could be something, a grandmother, you lost a grandmother could be a big part of your legacy or what people remember about you, you know? I do think that when bad things happen, people are more likely to remember who you are when you're attached to a bad thing than if you're attached to a good thing, is what I'm getting. So maybe you were attached to a lot of bad things in your life, and that's the legacy you're kind of leaving behind, okay? Here we have cunning and stealth, okay? I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I did kind of pick up on this energy from you guys, okay? Like I said, it's not going to be for everything. You can grow and you will experience a lot of endings and beginnings in your life, okay? So maybe you're going to be down and out a lot of the times. And it's funny. It's crazy, actually, how it's talking about the Page of Pentacles of you starting and stopping and starting and stopping and forever finding your purpose or your lease in life or lot in life because you keep starting over or you can never truly find where you belong or what you want to do, you know? And now it's coming through again with the wheel and endings and beginnings. I just caught that. And look, to put the frosting on the cake, we have her holding a wheel, a pentacle. So like I said, this is the exact card that I was mentioning, you always starting over and being forever in this starting energy, learning energy, student energy. It's like, you know, do you ever truly become the teacher? Because do you ever fully learn your lesson in order to teach the lesson that needs to be taught, you know? And the wheel, the way it's being held in her hand. So maybe you may be someone who is not the victim of, that's what I heard, the victim of like fate and destiny. And like you're always like in turmoil or ups and downs or bad things are always happening to you, that kind of thing. There's somebody that I'm specifically seeing, and it was like from a childhood movie or television show where bad things would always happen to her or him, and it's just kind of like, what is that? It's a show, so it's kind of like, you know, not always real, but there are people like that in life where bad things always happen to them. Here we have the Peacock, which is pregnancy and wealth. So maybe, and what did I say about you being known for a child of yours? Stop playing in my life. But I said, stop playing with me. Maybe you go through a big change when you become a parent and you go from being that petty, rude, drama-filled person to being on the up and up, right? Because your child and having a child changed you, you know? And it's funny because that same reader that I was talking about had a baby, and I think in a way maybe he changed her. I'm not sure. I don't know her anymore to comment on that, but it's funny how she keeps coming through. But yeah, pregnancy, wealth. So your child, because we have pregnancy dot wealth, your child, like I said, may end up having a legacy you always wanted, and that may breed some resentment. Because it's funny how we also have the Six of Cups here, and he's like imagining a younger version of himself, or maybe a child version of himself, or his child, you know? So children's going to be important here, the legacy. And like I said, my friend in the background gushing over the newborn baby. That could be coming through for you guys. But yeah, being very much to yourself, no one ever really knew you, very secretive, very private is the vibe that's coming through for you guys. Always in your head, or maybe overly, I'm hearing pretentious, but that's not the vibe that I'm fully getting. Like, just always away from everyone, okay? Or trying to keep yourself sheltered, maybe to not get hurt, but it's kind of like superficial. You have superficial friendships with people, and it's never truly deep or real, which is why fake was coming through a few times. But we have endings and beginnings, so I do believe you're gonna like turn over a new leaf in your life and gonna be known for more than that. But I mean, I feel like there are people who should be rewarded for their cunning and stuff, because how are you able to get one over on someone so long? How are you able to shield and hide who you were for so long? Cunning and stuff it's Slytherin vibes. And Slytherin is known as the enemy in all the people's stories in Hogwarts. But of course, they have their own story that we don't get to see because they're just always, you know, the villain. But there's some of them who have redeeming qualities, who have redeeming arcs. For example, Snape, he was seen as a villain for the entire series until we get to the end of his life. And it's not until the man is dead and gone that we realize how ride or die of a person he truly was, until all his secrets come to light. Wow. Yeah, that's coming through. It's giving Snape, Severus Snape Dumbledore. Let me stop. You could love Harry Potter. But yeah, and even Dumbledore, the most smartest, powerfulest wizard in the Harry Potter universe, didn't know that Snape was still in love with Lily for all those years. And we don't realize until one of the later movies where he shows his Patronus, and Dumbledore is like, after all this time, and Snape is like, what? Always. Don't make me cry. I really have a soft spot for Snape, even though I hated him growing up. Now that I'm older, and like I said, you have this empathy and compassion for certain people. I'm like, damn, like, can you imagine how lonely it must have been to live in the mind of Snape? Severus Snape Dumbledore. Let me stop. I'm a fool. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you know how lonely it could have been? Like, the love of his life was gone, never had no kids, didn't really have any true friends. Like, he was always under the intense scrutiny of, what's that man's name? Voldemort. And he had to use his legilimens, like his mind reading or his ability to keep mind readers out of his head his entire life to protect the child and everyone else. The child specifically of the woman he loved always. Ugh. Bars. Okay, that could be something for you as well. Like, and I said, children keep coming through, protecting children, bringing up children, maybe not in the best way. Maybe you're going to be known as being a bad mother or father. And when you leave, your kid's going to be like, oh my gosh, my mother was so this, my dad was so that. And they don't really understand until you're gone or until they're in your shoes how much you actually have to go through. And then they start experiencing some empathy and compassion the way we all did, or me, I should speak for myself, did after I learned all the things that Snape did for Harry specifically, and just the Wizarding World in general, okay? Because in order to protect the Wizarding World, he kind of had to protect Harry. So he kind of saved the world in a way, Severus Snape. But he was always seen as a villain, okay? You see how it's coming full circle if you stayed to watch the whole thing? Okay, anyway. Pregnancy wealth, something here about your pregnancy being a big thing, something you're known for, child you have, or wealth from a child. Like I said, if your child becomes the next Rihanna or Beyonce, you're rich because of your children, okay? Now let's keep going. We're going to get some cards from here and see what else comes through. Dumbledore also had a sketchy backstory as well. You could also be seen as a Dumbledore, but he was kind of a little bit of the villain in this story as well, if we're being honest. He raised, and I think it's that same scene. He's like, you've been raising him for slaughter. He's literally been raising Harry Potter for slaughter because he knew at the end of the day that in order to kill the Horcrux that was in Harry, that Harry would have to die, but he never told that boy that. And it's even Snape, someone who's been bullying and being mean to that child his whole life, despite loving his mother, is like, you literally are just raising him for slaughter this whole time. How dare you? Stop. That's coming through. So yeah, there's something here about y'all being the shady characters in people's story, right? But at the end of the day, people are going to realize that you kind of got them to where they wanted to be, right? Anyway, Dumbledore, Snape, because if you don't know the lore behind Harry Potter, I do believe Dumbledore is part. There's 3 people involved who is responsible for the death of Ariana. And we're always talking about Ariana at the beginning of the reading. That's so crazy. But it's a different Ariana. Ariana is the name of his Dumbledore's sister. So she dies in the series. And a part of the reason, or part of the people who kind of are responsible for her death are Dumbledore, okay, his brother, okay, and Gellert Grindelwald, and he's also a shady character, and you're getting all the shady characters coming through in your reading. So yeah, you're seen as a shady character, or someone that people really could never say they ever really knew, because you just always kept who you were and your intentions very well hidden, cunning and stealth, okay? So hard to read, impossible to read is what I'm hearing. Like Snape was, even when the most powerful dark wizard in history was trying to read his mind, he was able to keep him out, to keep his intentions, Snape's intentions, going until he saved Harry at the end of the day, you know, that kind of stuff. So even the most dark person, the most powerful person, even Dumbledore, like I said, didn't know Snape was still in love with the mother. All that's coming through. But it's crazy. It's crazy, the legacy coming through for y'all, child. But Ariana, yes, Dumbledore can be seen as the enemy because he was so busy chasing power with Gellert, okay, another evil villain. that he got into a fight with. It was a three-way sword wizard wand fight, Lord, between Dumbledore, his brother, and Gellert, and they don't really know who gave the killing blow, but in result of that fight or duel, whatever you want to call it, his sister died, and he lived the rest of his life with that grief. Him and his brother Gellert continued being crazy, child, locked up in Azkaban. But the brother and Dumbledore, that's kind of what gave him a reality check and made him stop chasing power. And that's when he became a teacher, because he couldn't handle the power. Oh my gosh, the revelations in your reading are wild, guys. But basically we learn in the Fantastic Beasts movies that Dumbledore is like, when I chase power, it wasn't meant for me. I can't handle it. I can't handle having too much power, because it kind of gets to my head and it makes me go like in the gray area. So he ended up having to live the rest of his life as a freaking teacher at Hogwarts, even though we knew he was one of the, if not the most powerful wizard in Hogwarts history, or headmasters, whatever you want to call it. And it's funny how he gave up the power he was so valiantly chasing, so ruthlessly chasing with Gellert, because they wanted to collect all the, I'm going to say Horcruxes. No, that's Dumbledore after Gellert Grindelwald. He wanted to collect all the Deathly Hallows. He wanted to get the wand. He wanted to get the crystal, and then he wanted to get the cloak. And in that journey, with Gellert, he ended up like getting to fight with his brother, and then he killed Ariana. And then after that, he had like a come to Jesus moment. And he was like, because of a child, right? His younger sister, boom, children keep coming through again. He had a light bulb moment that made him realize he can't handle power. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. He didn't have the responsibility to handle it, which is why he kind of took a step back and just became headmaster. And that's the only bit of power he was able to, wield in the wizarding world until his death. Rest in peace, Dumbledore. But that's what's coming through. A lot of insights you're going to be going through in your life. You're going to be going to go from being an evil villain to a mastermind to a hero. In some people's story, it just really depends who you're asking or who you're viewing, who you're asking. We're going to leave it there. Here we have Saint Germain, karma releasing. Yeah, you're going to be releasing a lot of karma in this legacy of yours, which makes a lot of sense. We have move beyond drama. Create your own path, make room for good energy. This is going to be your legacy. Getting rid of all the karma that was attached to you, karma that you helped, aided in building in your life, and then you're going to be releasing a lot of it, okay? So some could be from past lives, and some could be from your most recent life, right? Because I'm seeing the Eye of Horus, and I'd be forgetting what he's for, but I think the Eye of Horus was used to like see something, obviously it's the eye, right? It's kind of reminding me of, what's his name's eye? Odin's eye. He gave up one of his eyes to be able to see the past, present, the future, everything, The Eye of Horus could be that, but just in an Egyptian, way. Now we have Lady Nada, heart awakening. Yeah, so you go through a heart awakening to become a better person. So you don't stay in the gray forever. Okay, they'll tell you that. Now we have awaken to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. You could be someone who was just always a taker or an overgiver, and you learn to balance that out in life, okay? And not you getting Jesus. What the hell? Master Jesus. He really comes out, okay? And we have forgiveness. You are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Those are the 3 lessons you're going to be learning, because love keeps coming through. Heart awakening. Light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. So healing, karma releasing, and letting in love is going to be a big thing for you guys. And true love and divine love, not just any old love, okay? Especially not toxic love. So maybe someone's going to be overcoming a very toxic connection or multiple toxic connections, okay? It's given the Taylor Swift effect, where she's been through so many toxic connections, and we always see her as the villain. And I do believe the one time she felt like true love, which was that most recent guy she was with, she got real hurt because she seemed real mad. In the most recent song, she remembered that man she was engaged to, child of the ghetto. Anywho, we have charity, prayer, and contemplation. A lot of getting close to spirit, a lot of prayer and spiritual awakening and soul lessons and karma releasing is going to be a big thing for your legacy. So connect with heaven, ask, and you shall receive. So connecting with heaven is going to be a big thing. So maybe the things that were coming through the beginning of the reading is going to be like, if it even resonated for you, is going to be like when you're younger, and the older you get, the more wisdom you're going to build, right? And the more you're going to be seen as, like, sometimes tough love is necessary in this life. And that's something you're really good at giving, I feel like. And people see it as, oh my gosh, you're so mean, or they're talking mess about you, but it's something they're going to look back and say, oh, I'm glad I had that person because they kind of got me to where I am today. They were one of the stepping stones, even if I wasn't meant to be with them or be best friends with them or have them in my life for the rest of my life, they were important, in building the person that I am today. Now, let's get into these last cards really quickly. We have invitations. Chances are, you're being very friendly. You're going to a lot of parties. You're mingling with a lot of people. You're like a little bit of a social butterfly. And I want to emphasize you can be a social butterfly and people still not know you. Truly. You can have a lot of friends and acquaintances that keep hearing for you. So you may not have a lot of friends in this life, and true friends anyway, or even true love. But you may have like a lot of dalliances, a lot of karmic connections, a lot of relationships, but none that stand the test of time, and friendships as well. It's kind of like you keep people at an arm's length. And even though you are social, it's giving me Libra. It's giving me somebody, honestly, but I don't want to say that's my business. And here we have a dead end, but it kind of came out in reverse. So it's like, people, you're an acquired taste, group 2. You're an acquired taste for sure. And people are going to be like, they meet you, nah, not my cup of tea. And that's fine. Not everyone's going to love you. That's a lesson we all have to learn in life. We have a win-win situation. Maybe there's certain things that happen in your life that make you think that, it's fine. It's fine. It ended up being a win for me, right? Or you end up with this peacock wealth and pregnancy. You may end up like, you may end up, I was going to say, I completely lost it. Because we have an egg hatching here, the chicken and the egg. And the way chickens produce babies is through eggs, right? So something here about your child going to be, like I said, they're going to be the one that has like a lot of money and stuff like that. But a win-win situation. Things turn out in your favor is what I wanted to say. Even though you think they may not, things always work out well for you, Okay. And then we have this card here about requiring stillness. Anytime I see a snake, I think of like a snake shedding its skin multiple times in their life. I'm not 100% sure how often snakes shed their skin, but it's pretty often in their life. Okay. So there's something here about you becoming somebody new, growing, shedding old skin, becoming someone new, shedding old skin until you finally reach the end of your life and you're like not the same person as well. But like there's something here about, like I said, that turtle energy of you taking forever to learn one lesson, or maybe never learn the lesson, which is why you were the kind of person who could never have a lot of power, because there's one lesson in life that you just don't want to learn and you're very mulish and stubborn about. And that's why you can never have great responsibility or great power, because there's that one thing about you that just you won't let go of. No matter how many lessons you learn, no matter how many times the karma keeps coming back around, you don't want to release it. And that is a legacy you're leaving behind. Someone who could have had great power but didn't want to release one small thing. It could be pride, it could be ego, it could be saying I'm sorry, it could be opening up and letting people in, it could be all of those things I just heard. It could be all of those things. That's something that you have to learn. But if you want to change that now, you're being made aware that there's something that you're struggling with that you need to let go of, release. Forgiveness came through. Master Jesus, forgiveness. Ooh, child, it's a word. Hallelujah. Whew, I'm done. But anyway, I'm gonna leave the reading right here though. I'm getting crazy. But that's what I said what I had to say. It's giving win-win. Like, this always gives me what came first, the chicken or the egg. You know what I mean? There's like something you're always going around and around and around about. That question is like, which one came first? There's some people who would say the chicken. And how did the chicken come to be? The chicken has to hatch out of the egg. So the egg came first. And people are like, but how did the egg come to be? Because the chicken needs to birth the egg. That question, you're constantly going around and it's saying that. Circles, cycles, karma. And you don't want to release the notion that maybe the egg came first, maybe the chicken came first. We don't care. Move on. But you don't want to move on. You're stuck in this little whirlwind or something. But I'm going to leave your reading right there. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 3s. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image 3, option 3, however you got here, welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me here. Today's reading is going to be about what is your legacy going to be, okay? So let's get right into it because I was hearing some stuff before I even started the reading or press play, and I want to get it out before I forget it. So you could be very direct, very straightforward. You know, you don't really hold anything back, or you're like very, you don't like to mince words or like waste time. You're getting right down to things, you know, explaining things properly, you know, very anal is what I'm hearing. But anyway, when I was shuffling the deck, I saw the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and I heard you're a safe place to land. So you're a safe place to fall. You could be someone who's very reliable, who people can come to and know that you will have a solution. You will help them come up with a solution. Okay. You're very stable and grounded, because now I'm seeing the Four of Pentacles as well. But the Four of Swords is very much an energy of rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, licking your wounds and figuring out your next step. Because naturally, the Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords, for anyone who knows tarot, is the heartbreak card. You're going through emotional turmoil, whether it was a heartbreak or your mom and you had a fight, or you had a best friend split up or whatever, stuff like that. You're going through emotional turmoil, and the Four of Swords is the period where you lick your wounds. You are in stasis mode, kind of like the Hangman, but different, not as extreme, right? It's something where people come to you and lick their wounds. Now, before I forget again, immediately for that example or reference, I thought of Khloe Kardashian, and how when I was younger, my mom used to watch the show, therefore I used to watch the show. And Khloe was always the sister that everybody can come to, and she would never judge them. So that's also coming through for you, and what kind of legacy you're going to leave behind. You will be known as a person who like took everything at face value, didn't really look too deep into things. If someone came to you with a problem, you weren't asking, well, what happened? And what did you do? And what did they do? You're jumping straight into problem solving mode and making people feel very safe to open up and even tell you what may have went wrong. But Khloe was always the sister that any of the sisters could come to, because she felt the most misunderstood and outcasted in the family. Okay, so you could also be known as someone who resonates as the black sheep, someone who felt like so ostracized and left by the wayside or cast out that you made it your personality, is what I'm hearing, literally, to not be a people pleaser, because that did kind of come through a little bit. So you could be known as a people pleaser, but it's giving me more so you did whatever you could to not make anyone else ever felt what you felt. So now you kind of overcompensate to make people feel safe and heard and seen and loved, you know? That kind of thing is coming through for you guys already. But yeah, you gave me the Khloe Kardashian, where she's always the sister that is taking care of everyone, no matter who, whether they're blood or not. Because, for example, I do believe that, well, back in those days, Kylie would always say Khloe was her favorite sister because they were always really close. Kylie would always come over to her house whenever she was feeling misunderstood, or whenever she would kind of like bump heads with their mother, Kris. But she just always felt safest with Khloe, and that, you know, built a very strong bond. They always just have the same thing in common. Because another thing is they are both the best mothers out of the siblings, and that's from like, we've heard all the siblings, you know, pitch in and who they think is the best mother, and you know, by a landslide, Khloe and Kylie are in the running to be the best mothers, and we can see it when they interact with their kids. They're very good mothers. Their kids are very well behaved. They're very polite. They're not talking back. They're not, you know, rebellious and, you know, rude. And they're very nice, very chill, very cute, very well behaved kids. And then you see Kim's kids, and you see and Courtney's kids. You're like, oh, okay, you know. So it's like you can tell when someone's just really good vibes and their kids feel safe and loved. They're gonna act a certain way, in a way where other kids who do not feel so safe could act. And some kids are just brats, honestly. And that does tie into how you raise them. So it's giving, you know how to raise people. People feel safe with you. You're giving the big brother, big sister, not so much the mother, father. You're giving the big brother, big sister. So you were always there to lend a listening hand. And you know what I mean? You would act first and ask questions later, which is the thing that I was talking about, where you jump right into helping them figure out a solution, instead of asking, what happened? Tell me everything right now. It's like, no, let's hop to it. Let's fix the problem right now. Then we'll figure out the, you know, details later. We'll get the full story later, okay? But that is what was coming through for you guys. And I think there was something else that was coming through. I just gotta get back to it. Anything else Four of Swords, Khloe Kardashian. I think that's all that was coming through, honestly. But yeah, big brother, big sister vibes. Someone comes to you with a problem, you have a solution. That's it, right? I think so. We can get the tarot cards now. I'm like, is there anything else that wants to come through? Oh, there was also, we have the Lover's card here. Okay, but that's not what I was going for. The Knight of Wands was another card that I saw when I was shuffling the deck. And that's like a good time. You know how to like let loose. So maybe you're the friend that kind of like your friends can make mistakes with, and you're not going to come back and throw it in their face. You know what I mean? Or I wanted to go back to what I was saying about Khloe, how she always felt so ostracized that she would help take care of everyone. And how when Rob couldn't be the best father for his daughter because he was going through his own stuff, she took Dream right under her wing and would take care of her like as if she were her own. No questions asked. Not like, this is not my real child. This is not my biological child. I should be forcing him to take care of her. No, he's just like, she's just like, he can't do it right now. He's not in the best place. Him and Black China were going through all these backs and forths. I'm going to be the stable person she needed because she probably didn't have that stability. So you're going to be known as a person who gave people what they needed or didn't know they needed, okay? And then also, she was with this waste man, Tristan, who cheated on her multiple times. And then there was something, his mom like had passed, I believe it was. And then she ended up taking his brother into her care. No questions asked. It doesn't matter what he did to her, no matter how many times he cheated, disrespected her, embarrassed her in front of the world. He was just a horrible person. She took her, I think the brother has like special needs. She took the brother under her wing, and I think maybe to this day is still taking care of him. So it's kind of like the person who collects the stray dogs and kind of like brings them home and brings them back to life and then sends them back out into the world, or maybe never sends them out at all, kind of energy, that kind of person for people. Now I think I said everything I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to bring up, the fact that she took Dream, her brother's daughter, under her wing. Whenever you would see Khloe, you'd see Dream, you'd see True, and now she has Tatum. I know way too much about this family, y'all. Social media can't help but push them in your face so you know their whole lives, like dang. And then also the Tristan's brother, you know, she took him in, taking care of him because the mother can't do it, that kind of thing. Yeah, so people definitely feel safe. There's something here about you being, like I said, quiet and non-judgmental. So you would never judge anyone. You took them for what they were and you made them feel like they belong somewhere, okay? That is going to be your legacy. Now we're going to get into the cards and see what they have to say, okay? Whew, boy. That's been happening more recently lately. I've been getting a lot of messages before the reading that has led to me just chatting here for 8 minutes. And it's like, okay. But Knight of Wands, Khloe's also a very good time. She's very funny. She's very jokey. She can make anybody laugh. She's very quirky, if I didn't say the word. Like, she has, like, she's very blunt as well. You know what I mean? She'll cuss you out and call you bitch, but in the name of love. You know what I mean? She can go outside and get wasted. Well, in her younger years, she was very, like, not volatile, but a wild child for sure. Because she never felt heard or seen. But then she mellowed out a lot. You know? But it's definitely giving ride or die vibes. Because, excuse me, I'm being taken to the house. She stuck beside Lamar through all his BS. She even stuck beside Tristan through all his BS, child. No one's saying she's perfect. Anyway, as the Two of Swords coming out the bottom will, you know, say, no one's saying she's perfect, but people are people, you know. Now let's get into it. What will my group 3's legacy be, please, Spirit? What will group 3's legacy be? What will their legacy be? Legacy. What's in a legacy? I'm hearing Hamilton. It's a tree that you water and plant but never get to see. That's the last song in the play. So maybe the legacy you leave behind, you're not going to get to see the way Hamilton never got to see his true legacy. Like, he knew when he was here that people respected him and respected his opinion and required his opinion. Or, not respected, what is it? Admired. I guess people admired his smarts, his intelligence, his eloquence to be able to articulate whatever he wanted to say. So the your way with words could be something coming through as a legacy. You could write a book. You could come up with a specific system that helps people that you don't get to see until you're gone, right? But like I said, that specific part of the song is coming through. It's like a tree that you water and grow but never get to see, or something like that is what he says in the song. But it's like history has its eyes on you, or just the last song in the play. But it's the song right before he gets murdered by Aaron Burr, where he pauses. In the eye of the hurricane, there is quiet. He's going to duel Burr, right? And he is in like a few, paces, whatever, away from where his son died a few years earlier, I believe. And right before he gets shot, or right when Aaron Burr shoots off the shot, he stops, or the music stops. And then he's like, legacy, what's in a legacy? It's a seed that you plant that you don't get to see. So something like that. But that song is coming through, okay? So go listen to that song. But that could be something coming through. Your legacy is something you're not going to see while you're alive. It's not going to happen or bloom or blossom until after you're gone. It's just something that happened with Hamilton. We didn't get to respect him. We didn't even know his story until not me thinking of Lin-Manuel as Alexander. No, not until Lin-Manuel took his story and read his book and was so moved that he made it into a play that has been like won so many awards, that is worldwide, critically acclaimed, all of those things. But Alexander Hamilton didn't get his flowers until centuries later, right? So maybe you write a book and it doesn't blow up until you're gone, okay? Or you leave behind some kind of legacy. I'm hearing movies, okay? Movies, drawings, books, videos, whatever. Maybe you have a YouTube channel that doesn't get big until after you're gone, and people are like, oh my gosh, this person was like, so wise beyond their years, or they make me feel so safe, and And it's not after you've given up the thing, or the thing is dead and gone, that it blows up, is the vibe that I'm getting for you guys. That's a very specific message for some people. If you write a book or make a play, and it's also giving me, what's his name? He came through in another reading how the guy who did Rent and those movies didn't get to see his play blow up. He died, oh, so sad, in his cold, electricity-less apartment alone the night before, which is just always so baffling to me. The night before the premiere of the first, play for Rent. And I'm like, oh no, Bendito, he's so lit. Oh, that's just so, like, my heart is like, ugh, I hate that. That's so unfair. We literally knew he was like, didn't have any electricity. He was struggling. He was like, literally, surviving by the skin of his teeth, or whatever the saying is. And he just was like struggling and alone, and just like, and right before that big break hits, you're gonna die. That's so rude. But that's what's coming through for y'all. Not to scare you or anything, but you're gonna live a fulfilling life. Despite what I was saying. Because Hamilton was struggling and struggled, but he found his, his little comfortable spot. Like I said, he was respected, well loved, people liked him. They wanted his opinion, But it just so happens that a tragedy happens, and he didn't get recognized for all that he did for America until decades later, or I'm not saying decades, centuries later. But while he was alive, he did have some acclaim, right? We're not gonna lie and say that he wasn't known at all, but he was not worldwide or known worldwide. There it is. Until a long time ago. Okay, probably about to be 10 years ago. So I believe Hamilton came out when I was in high school. And now I've been out of high school we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, the first card that came out is the Nine of Swords in reverse. Yeah, there's something here about inner turmoil, stress, not knowing what to do, feeling lost. You know what I mean? Anxiety, stress that you kind of alleviate for people with it coming out in reverse. So your legacy is going to be known as being a stress reliever, like a human stress ball, is what I'm hearing. You have a very healing presence or energy or outlook on life. Here we have the King of Swords. Are we surprised? No. Because you were speaking about your voice and the way you speak, comforting people. So you have a very comforting voice. Maybe people tell you your voice is so calming and comforting you can lull them to sleep. Maybe people should tell you you should read audiobooks that help people relax and meditate kind of energy. And that's the Four of Swords, meditation, okay? So maybe you're like a very spiritual, I'm hearing guru kind of person. You teach people how to live life better by word of mouth or by leading by example. That's a very big King of Swords thing. You lead by example. You're not going to tell somebody to do what you wouldn't do, is what I always think of. Or one of the things I think of when I think of the King of Swords. He's not going to sit there and tell someone, go do this, and he wouldn't do it himself, you know, or it's not something he has done. Like, you're not going to be giving advice to people about how to live and navigate life unless it's something you've actually been through, right? So with this King of Swords being the mature man that he is, well, gosh, being the mature, very eloquent, kind of like prim and proper person that he is, or by you being that way, then you're going to help people be that way as well. Or maybe you help people to speak up. That could be a thing as well. Or a listening ear is something that's coming through. But the King of Swords is like a very mature energy, as we can see in the card. I mean, I think all the kings have gray hair. Yeah, from in this deck. The King of Cups has gray hair. So this person, you're going to be known for being very mature. Okay? The King of Cups is a guy in the sea with gray hair. The King of Pentacles is a guy in his library with his wolf and gray hair. The King of Swords is the King of Wands. The King of Wands may be the only one who doesn't have gray hair, but this is a black man. And he's kind of like, his hair is mostly shaved off, but there is gray in his beard. I'm not going to lie. So a very mature energy, okay? You guys could like be giving father. That could be the vibe coming through. And there's like something very different between a mothering energy and a fathering energy, which is why I'm like saying you're giving like big brother or big sister vibes. Because sometimes a father can be the more immature, playful one of the parents. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're the more disciplinarian side of the parents. But for the most part, men, I'm hearing never truly grow up. So maybe you're going to be someone who's known for never truly growing up. But we know men never truly grow up. And they're always going to be playful. They're going to be doing all the things to the babies that they really shouldn't be doing. The mother's going to be like, hey, stop doing that. You know, the one who sees reason. And the masculine energy is the one who wants to push the envelope and push as much as he can until he can't push anymore, right? And that's the kind of energy coming through for you guys. You push boundaries until you can't anymore. And I want to know what, every time, like, I start shaking, like vibrating. And it's only when I'm doing a reading and only in certain groups. Like, what's the energy? Like, you have too much energy. You can't sit still. But this doesn't feel like an ADHD kind of energy. It feels like a very anxious energy. So maybe that's something you're also going to be known for dealing with. And it's funny because you got the Nine of Swords. Yeah, okay. Maybe I wasn't saying that. So they're like, hey, stop and pay attention to how you're feeling. And I feel like now that I mentioned that it's not as bad, but I feel like I was like shaking, you know? Like how you're really nervous and your body's like my back was like quivering. I'm like, wait, why? You know? Anyway, yeah, the Nine of Swords is that kind of energy. But like I said, I feel like you alleviate that for other people. So maybe you are an empath and you literally just soak up the energies or the anxieties of people around you. They come to you and they're not feeling good. You soak it up, make them feel better, and they just leave, you know? It's kind of giving me, there's like a meme that was going around on social media for people who always make everyone else feels better. It shows like a white person and a dark person. So a white stick figure and a dark stick figure. And then the dark stick figure is sad and da-da-da-da, whatever. And then the white stick figure touches them and all the darkness is transferred to him. And he takes that darkness and he helps them feel better, but now he's carrying that darkness. Then he finds somebody else and they're sad as well. And they're black and he's still kind of white, but a little black. And then he touches them and takes on their pain. Now he's half black. And he keeps going around and like taking on everyone's troubles until he's like a big, like, raw nerve of I'm feeling too much and I don't really know what to do with all these energies and trauma dumpings that I've been picking up for everyone else. There could be an energy of you being really good at that, you know? Taking people's anxieties and worries and fears and like making them, what's the word? Tolerable, maintainable, you know? Because it's something you can deal with and it's something that I was mentioning in group one. I think I mentioned in group one. I remember I did group one yesterday. So, yesterday was yesterday and today is today. But basically, I was like how there was an episode of Charmed where True ends up True. What am I saying? Not me thinking about Chloe's daughter again. Relax. Excuse me. Prue from the Charmed One series. She ends up taking on empath powers from a demon that was cursed to feel everything, because in his true demon form, he wasn't able to feel anything. He had no emotions at all, no remorse, no nothing. An empath cursed him with the powers of an empath, so he was like a recluse for the rest of his life. However long the man has been cursed for, and he was like staying in this like dilapidated building, and the city was coming to destroy the building, but they said that this man wouldn't come out. And the guy was like, I'm not coming out. It's too loud out there. I can feel everything you're feeling. Get away from me. He was like a raw nerd. And Prue, not knowing he was a demon that was cursed, takes his pain away and ends up taking on his powers as well. And in the show, because she was not meant to be an empath or to hold all those emotions and still be able to function, she was like deteriorating, because even though she was a witch and she was magical, her body was not built to hold all those emotions at once, or the emotions of essentially the whole world, okay? And the way they explain it is that there's a few people who are born every few centuries that are empaths, true empaths. I keep hearing, I think that's what Leo, their white lighter, said. A true empath is someone who's born every few centuries, who's not magical, but it's their job to take on, if they don't have magic like Prue and them did to stop time and make things fly and stuff like that. But it's their job to kind of like be an empath and help people in this life, right? And she could not hold all that power. She was like, I'm gonna head out. Her telekinesis powers were going crazy, because every time she would feel too much, things would go flying and buildings would just everything would just, go haywire. And it wasn't until the end that she was able to embrace the emotions, that she was able to, defeat the demon, whatever kind of thing. And that's what I'm getting. She wasn't a true empath, but you could be, and group one was as well. So it's giving you're able to hold all the bad emotions in the world and still keep functioning, because it's something you have been doing for the longest time is what I'm hearing. So people may know this and still use you. So like I said, people pleasing did come through for a smidgen in the beginning. So just be careful of that. Guys, your people-pleasing tendencies are willing to help everyone. Not everyone can be helped or deserves. Let me not say deserves, but deserves your help. They can get help from somebody else, but you don't deserve to take on their energy if they don't have any goodwill, or they're going to reciprocate that energy to you at all, But the King of Swords is someone who's very discerning. You're very good at reading people, so you're a very good judge of character, and that's something you're going to be known for, your legacy. We have Three of Cups, partying, celebrating. Sisterhood is giving me sisterhood. Like I said, you're giving older sister, older brother, and I love it keeps coming through. Because confirmations are always, greatly appreciated on this over here. So I know I'm not leading you astray and talking BS. But the Three of Cups is like giving the sisterhood of the traveling pants, if you've heard that movie. If not, it's basically a group of friends who found these one pair of jeans that fit all of them perfectly, and they're all different body shapes and body sizes. So I don't know how they pull that off in like the actual, post or whatever in actual production, but they did. And the jeans would fit all their body types perfectly, and they would all just like they found the perfect pair of jeans, but it fit everybody perfectly, so they had to share it, right? And they call the movie The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, okay? And that's kind of what this card gave me, a sisterhood. But of course that movie came through to explain what the sisterhood is about. That sisterhood was about traveling pants. The sisterhood or brotherhood you have with people, 3 friends in particular, or you and 2 friends in particular, could be very important, right? There could be something here about you having found family out there somewhere, and those people actually finding you somewhere, It's like you can tell somebody you're a star seed and then never meet another star seed or never meet any part of your star family. You're giving someone who people consider family, whether you guys are blood related or not. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. People call you their big sis, their big bro, whether you're blood related or not. You know what I mean? People call you their bro, their sis, even though, not everybody gets that title. It's become like more socially acceptable to call everybody sis and bro, but that's something that is really like, in your case, I want to say, is really retained for people who you really truly consider blood, people who go beyond best friend, people who go beyond acquaintance, people who go beyond co-workers, teachers, people you don't really know. They go beyond that. They go to found family. You know what I mean? Star family energy. And the fact that we have the Pleiadian star seed coming out in this card right here means that you could be a Pleiadian star seed. And that's something that people consider you to be. Like, you could be Pleiadian, you could be any kind of star seed. There's Sirian, there's Lyran, there's Bentangan, there's a bunch of them, guys. There's Draconian, Andromedonian, let me stop. Andromedan, there's so many of them. And it's giving you could be one of those, and you actually are someone who is able to truly find the people in life that resonate with your soul. Not just your beliefs, not just your life, not just your soul. You found your soul family, and that's something that you're going to be known for. You could be known for having a specific solid group of friends, right? And that always reminds me of me and my best friend. Anytime we go out somewhere, it's always just the two of us. So whenever we show up to that one place by ourselves, they always ask, oh, where's your friend? Where's your best friend? Where's your other half? Where's your twin? Or I'm just like, she ain't here right now. Or she's coming soon, relax. Like, they always ask us. I'm like, we're our own people. Mind your business. But it's giving when they think of you, they think of these other people or this one other person as well. That's what you're going to be known for, having a family made out of people who may not be your actual family, or making a family out of people who weren't your family because you felt so maybe ostracized or black sheep in your family. And I do believe I mentioned that for you guys. I think, yeah, in the beginning of your reading, I was like, you could be black sheep, okay? Now, next we have the moon, but it kind of wanted to come out in reverse. I'm not sure. Is this reverse too? Yeah, they're reversed. So maybe we're going to put them up right for now. We have the moon, and then we have the Empress energy, which is the mother coming out. Okay, and no, that was group 2. Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Anyway, or maybe I did call you guys the Empress. I'm not sure. If I did, then this is your group. But if it wasn't, then it was group 2. Simple as that. Anyway, we have the moon here, which is like always deep in your feelings. There's definitely an energy of like a gap, and you having to learn to bridge this gap. So maybe there's something like extremely different, or I want to say polarizing about you. Like, you have two very distinct, very, very different personalities, and you're going to be known for spending your whole life trying to maybe make that make sense or bridge the gap between the two. Because what I'm seeing here in the moon is this, of course, woman, and then we have these two wolves. One is white, one is black, and they're constantly howling to probably get to the other person, but they can never bridge this gap because I'm pretty sure they know how to swim. But the meaning of the card is that they're howling at the same moon, even though they're on different sides of the chasm. Even though they're different colored wolves, they still howl to the same moon. But this always gives me two distinct parts of your personality. There's a light part and there's a dark part. You could spend the rest of your life, or your legacy that you leave behind, are people saying how I know she'll always struggle with those demons, and I hope she's in a better place now kind of energy. You know how people say that when people are gone? Like, I always knew she was struggling, and I'm just glad that she's at peace kind of energy. That could be the vibe coming through. You're going to come through as someone who was always seen as struggling, or like emotionally strong or competent or capable. And they're like, I know she went through so much, I hope she's at peace now kind of energy. People are wishing good on you based on the hard life you may have had, right? It's not going to resonate for everyone, I feel like, but it's definitely giving me that. How you, like, yeah, and it's funny how I was talking about the two black... Every time I say black, I have to pause. I'm like, huh? Like, the black girl in me. Like, have you guys ever seen, you may know how to lighten the mood, because it was getting really dark for a second, and I'm like, I just started laughing. But did you guys see that video going around on social media where white people like say the word black or dark, and the black people in the room like, or, oh no, like, make a reaction, and the white people like catch themselves and see what they said and just start laughing? There is a bunch of different videos. There's one with like Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield, and they played in the same Spider-Man movie, because I think Jamie Foxx ended up being the bad guy or something. I don't remember those movies, child. Love me some Andrew Garfield. Don't remember him being Spider-Man. He wasn't my Spider-Man. My Spider-Man is the original Spider-Man. I do like Tom Holland's Spider-Man as well, you know? But anyway, let me stop getting off topic. But they were basically having like a an interview, and Andrew Garfield was talking about dark and or like black, and the way he was like saying it, Jamie Foxx was like, "Excuse me?" And Andrew had to like stop and then just start giggling because he knew what he was saying, you know? Or he knew the joke he was saying. And there's like another with Anthony Mackie and something, what, Mary-Kate and Ashley, their sister, you know? So Elizabeth Olsen, she plays Scarlet Witch in Marvel. She came to they're on the red carpet for one of the movie premieres, and Anthony Mackie is like, she comes over, she's like, "I didn't know that was you, hi." And she's like giving him kisses and hugs. She's like, "It was so dark." And then he's like, "What did you call me?" And they have to like stop and just start laughing because she's like, "What do you mean?" And then she catches on to what he means because he's a black man, and that those words are always thrown around, you know what I mean? And it's just the funniest thing. But anyway, me to keep saying black and dark had me thinking of people like, "Excuse me, what did you say? What did you call me?" That kind of thing. So I had to laugh, okay? But yeah, you can like lighten the mood. You're known for lightening the mood a lot, right? To alleviating the tension in a room, making things happy and bright as well, you know? Looking on the bright side kind of thing. But anyway, like I was saying, it's funny how I was mentioning the white caricature and then the black one. The white one was going around and touching everyone and taking on their darkness. And then we have a black wolf here, we have a white wolf here. So there's like a split in personality. So maybe sometimes you're like really dark in mood and energy, and then sometimes you're very light. So it depends. So you were someone who's very moody, but also someone who's like very light as well, okay? If that makes sense. The moon is also someone who's like very private, very intuitive, keeps a lot of secrets. You don't really know much about them. They keep a lot to themselves. They're very in tune and tapped into spirit. In this case, it's kind of giving me goddess energy, especially coming out at the same time with Empress. So it was giving like goddess of the moon energy. And it's kind of like giving me that song by Jason Mraz that keeps coming through. She's a wise, wise woman. She keeps her mind open. And in the song, it's like she's a sister, a daughter to the sun, a sister to the moon, and mother to everyone. Something like that in the song. And it's like, she is a green garden goddess. She hears the universe. She stays in the planets, but she keeps it down to earth. 'Cause she's a wise, wise woman. She keeps her mind open. And then in other parts of the song, she keeps her heart open. So you keep your mind and your heart open. And that's why sometimes you maybe seem light and carefree. And then other times when the empath in you is kind of like turned on, you're overstimulated or kind of like just, down bad is what I'm hearing. Where you just can't take anymore. Sometimes you're coming to like a very dark, brooding, moody kind of energy, So sometimes you're laughing and giggling and happy. Other times you're more, mellow and chill and quiet and melancholic and very thoughtful as well. You can be thoughtful just in general. That could be a part of your legacy you're leaving behind. Someone who's very extremely thoughtful. But yeah, that's coming through. But with the Empress, is definitely the energy of like taking care of people. You could also be known for a child that you have, or just being a mother to everyone, a mother to all. Is what the Empress always gives me. Being very abundant, very lucky, very beautiful. That's also legacy you're leaving behind. You're someone who's very like attractive. And not just like, oh, she's sexy, he's sexy. Like beautiful. Like you're a beautiful person. And people can feel your good vibes from like a million miles away. And people feel immediately comfortable with you, which we already talked about. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's what's coming through for you guys, okay? And the moon is important for you as well. So you can be known as someone who loves the moon and the stars and the planets, You can be known as someone who's a star seed, with the star seed constellation coming through here, the Pleiadians, But what I love about the Pleiadian star seed is it's a group of 7 sisters, right? And I was talking about how this card gave me sisterhood. So that's definitely coming through here. Maybe your sorority sisters could be important, or you have a group of like female friends or male friends, don't mean to discriminate, let me stop. That people know you to just always be with, You have a core group of friends that they know if they see you, they're going to see them. And if they see them, they're going to see you. And if they see you and they don't see them, you're going to be like, where your friend at? And you're going to be like, mind your business, they're not here. Or they come in a second. Like I always have to do, okay? Oh boy, but I'm hearing twin, where have you been? Like evil twin. So you my evil twin, evil twin, evil twin. No, I guess we evil. I guess we twins or something like that. That song about that was going around. I guess we evil then. Evil twin, something like that. But anyway, people know they see you, they see them, and the antics are going to be popping off. They're going to be having a good time playing and joking, and that's the carefree side to you when you're with your friends, I feel like. And then when you're by yourself, which she is in this moon card, she's like very thoughtful in her feelings, very intuitive, like just thinking and pondering all the universe's questions and all the questions of the universe, that kind of thing. That kind of vibe, very tuned in and tapped into spirit when you're on your own. But then when you're with your friends, it's a different story, right? I didn't even get all the cards yet, y'all. I'm just chatting. I talk too much. What will my group threes be known for, please, spirit? My group threes, what will they be known for? Being very soft and very caring. Being a great mother is also the vibe that's coming through, honestly. And I was gonna mention how Khloe Kardashian has her like core group of friends that she's known from high school that she carries with her through everything. I believe it's like Khadijah and Monica. I forgot the girl's name. That's the one who's like her true best friend. The black twin girls that Khloe always be hanging out with. She has a group of friends who she's had since she's been in high school. And those are the friends that she takes with her. I forgot that other twin's name. That's crazy. But yeah, those are like her ride or die friends. Anytime we see them, we see her. They're the bestest of friends kind of thing. So you're going to be known for your great friend group. And the great vibe that friend groups brings, because I feel like when you're a starseed, you came here with a mission. You came here to fulfill something and do something. And when you link up, literally, with other people who are on that same mission, it makes you guys a powerful force, which is why people like always think of you as like a group. It's kind of given the Beatles. We see the Beatles on their own. Yeah, Paul McCartney, whatever. John Lennon, okay. But we know them from the Beatles, right? The Rolling Stones. You can't name me every single group unless you was a diehard Rolling Stones fan. You can't name every single one of them individual health up in their groups. I can't. But we know them as the Rolling Stones. They're an entity onto themselves. They're not individually known. They're just Rolling Stones. It's the Eagles. It's Kiss. It's, you know what I mean? We don't really know them on their own like that, you know, maybe. But when they're a group, that's when they're the most like powerful and they're making the most change, which is why some groups don't make it so well on their own, because they were meant to be a full group and bring impact. And everybody want to be greedy and stingy and go solo. I'm not bitter. What do you mean? Was definitely thinking about a specific group of boys. Wink, wink, shove. If you know me, you know. Anyway, we have luck and we have money. Okay, so you're going to be known as someone who's being very lucky or very wealthy as well. And as the prime example, those groups that I was mentioning, as well as Khloe Kardashian, we know they got money, okay? Now, maybe someone who's on a health kick, or, you know, started prioritizing their health kind of thing. Or maybe you're going to be known as someone who's like cheated on, but then ended up becoming a great mother. Very down to earth and very relatable. Here we have envelope, unfolding, and surprise. I really don't know what this means when it comes out in this kind of reading, so let's keep going. Here we have groom, husband, marriage. You may be at the same time with romance and sweetness. What? Maybe this person that people see when they see you is a future spouse. Whenever they see you, they're there as well. But we have groom. Yeah, I saw that flip out together. These two came out together, so we're taking them together. You're going to be known for a marriage or a love of a lifetime is what I'm hearing. We have romance and sweetness, okay? With this Empress energy, it's not that hard to imagine. You're going to be someone who's very romantically desirable. And didn't I see, y'all saw it with me, the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. It's not going to be there anymore, but it was. Okay, so you're definitely going to be known for love. And right here, when I move one card, we have the Emperor to the Empress that came out. So it's going to be known wherever you are, your husband or wife is, wherever you are, your future spouse is. I don't feel compelled to say boyfriend or anything. It's giving marriage vibes here. It's giving we're ruling an empire together kind of energy. This is the first time that's coming, so I love it. you're going to be known for a relationship or marriage, you know, that you have with someone, how it's always romantic, right? Very stable. You guys are going to be like a power couple vibe, golden couple vibes coming through here. So you're going to be known for your family, like I said, unit, which kept coming through in this reading. Three of Cups, friendship unit, the Empress with the Emperor coming through, and then we have groom, and then husband, and romance, sweetness is giving you're going to be known for a relationship, and that kept coming through. Your found family, soul family, that could always be your partner. Because there was one reader I heard years ago say, of course, your husband or partner is going to be a part of your family because they're meant to be in your life with you for the rest of your life. So them, as long as some friends you may meet, colleagues you may meet, they're all going to be a part of your found family, right? They're going to be a part of your tree, essentially. And it's funny how it was kind of trying to remember what Alexander Hamilton said in that your legacy. What is a legacy? What's in a legacy? It's something that a tree, I kept saying, you plant that you don't get to see, you know? And I'm not 100% sure if that's what he actually said. That's what came through for the lyrics. So there's something here about a tree, your DNA tree, your world tree, you having a lot of kids could be something being very fruitful, right? You're lucky enough to have the money to provide. There could be something here about a surprise when it comes to pregnancy or life. You didn't expect to get married and have or to be known to have such a beautiful life, right? Oh, what a beautiful life. That song is coming through. And there's also a song, Beautiful Life by Union J. And it's funny how it was mentioning boy bands. They're a boy band that I used to love when I was growing up. Union J, Beautiful Life is a song coming through. But yeah, we have romance and sweetness. You're going to be known for being very sweet and being very romantic, okay? Maybe yearning for love your whole life could be something coming through as well. But I feel like you get it. But the reason why we yearn certain things, what I've heard, and somebody explained it so well, I loved it. The reason why you learn and crave something right now that you don't have is because your future self knows you have it and you're just waiting for it to come. And I'm like, bars. If I don't preach, if I don't talk your ish, period. And I heard that and I felt that. Period. The reason you're yearning it right now is because you have it in the future. You're just waiting for it to come in. It's not because you're never going to have it. And I'm like, oh, that put things into perspective for me. If you have this big romantical, fantastical dream of falling in love in this beautiful romance movie kind of way and having all these kids and craving that, really craving it, it's because your future self already has it, right? And she's telling you, hey, this is what you have to look forward to. So you're thinking of yearning as, oh my gosh, I don't have it yet. Look at it as something to look forward to, okay? Anywho, yeah, but we have groom, we have husband, marriage. Your marriage is going to be something you leave behind as legacy. I'm hearing kids as well. Your tree of life is what I'm hearing. The branch is unfolding, you growing and building upon it, okay? Go forth and conquer, be fruitful. Go forth and be fruitful. You're going to have a lot of kids. I do believe Alexander Hamilton had a lot of kids as well with his wife. You could end up losing a child. I don't want to put that on you, but that could come through because Alexander Hamilton is coming through. He ended up losing a child. Let's see what else comes through for you guys. But there's definitely going to be a surprise. Like, surprise, you're having twins. Or surprise, I'm hearing lights, camera, action. A surprise, you're nominated for a Grammy. Or a surprise, you're going to be on TV. Or, surprise, we're picking up your TV series for TV, right? That kind of thing. I'm hearing a pilot. So there's something like that coming through. Since especially I've been mentioning a lot of TV shows and the Kardashians, just like a TV production. So that could be coming through. Here we have Horus, Cosmic Gateway. You're going to be known for literally changing and jumping into a new timeline. It says Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. This, as well as unfolding and surprise with the envelope, is definitely, and you know how envelopes really, it's definitely telling me something's coming in your life that you're not going to see coming, right? Or maybe in the afterlife, because it's Cosmic Gateway. It's not even giving a human, it's giving like some other being, right? And we have Mercury communication, so something that you create using your words, your mind, your thoughts, something you brainstorm is what I'm hearing, something you put to post. There's a technical term coming through for like production and producing. There's something you put to record or put to post or something like that kind of like you gets the green light, right? Whatever that means. I'm not big into, I don't really know much about production, how movies get greenlit and stuff like that. But one day you're gonna be like, oh, they're telling you, yeah, we're adapting your movie, your book into a series, and it may happen after you pass. You never really get to see it, you know. That posthumous. It's funny how this came through. Group 1 is coming through again, but like posthumous, like legacy or biography or something like that. They were getting more biography. You're getting more like a show or a book you write blows up after you pass, right? That has happened to many people. Like I'm hearing Pop Smoke. He's the best example that came through immediately. How he was like kind of big when he came out, but it wasn't until he passed that everybody started like bumping his music for real. And it's scary, or not scary. It's very sad how he didn't get to see his flowers while he was here, you know. And we have flowers. I can buy myself flowers. Yeah, you're gonna be able, like, something here about flowers. Your legacy is gonna be getting your flowers, so people are gonna be appreciating you in this legacy, like I said, whether you get to see it happen while you're still here, when you're gone. Now we have Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. That's something you're going to be learning, that everything, like I said, you've been yearning for and wanting is something a future you has in a future timeline, which is why you're craving it and wanting it, and it will be yours, okay? Now we have Mercury, open communication. Get a weight off your chest. Speak up with love and be heard. This communication with King of Swords is definitely something here about you speaking up for yourself, speaking out for others, advocating, taking care of people. You know what I mean? Speaking up for, like I said, the people who can't speak up for themselves, like the kids, the animals, stuff like that. People who may like not know how to speak up for themselves. You teach them how to do it. So it's something here empowering about your energy. So you empower others. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting as well. And also, this is like the Odysseus, whatever this is called. But this is an association with the god Apollo in Greek mythology or Roman, whichever one, I'm not sure. But medicine. So you could be known as like being a world-known doctor, you know, someone who heals, you know, wounds, bodies, spirits, stuff like that. Like a Dr. Sebi, maybe. But the Odysseus, I don't freaking know. That thing is called something, right? But it's the sign of like medicine, right? So you're gonna be known as someone who's like very smart as well. Sorry if I didn't mention that. The King of Swords kind of, you know, but you're gonna be someone who's known as someone who is very intelligent. My gosh. Oh, how annoying. Maybe otherworldly as well, because I see the Eye of Horus coming through. I mean, yeah, this is Horus. Yeah. I'm like, I see the Eye of Horus coming through. Yeah, that is Horus, so it would make some sense, right? Okay, can I get one more card? I've been getting 4 cards for these. What is the legacy my group 3s are leaving behind? Is this one more? Appreciate you. We have Serapis Bay. You're getting a lot of Egyptian cards. Serapis Bay Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. That's something you're going to be teaching people because it's something you've done yourself, right? I heard wrong, right? Okay. But yeah, we have this Egyptian figure here. And here we have Holy Amethyst, Divine Alchemy. Yeah, so it's definitely taking one thing and making it into another. You know, turning your pain into prosperity, into power, into success, into money, into riches, into fame. It's kind of reminding me like how Khloe Kardashian, to use for an example, I guess. She went from being the fat, ugly sister to being just as fit as her sisters and opening up a clothing line and, you know, making other bigger people, because I don't know how big, she was never really that big in my opinion, okay? Helping other people feel confident about their bodies, right? Confident in themselves. You help people speak up for themselves, ask for what they deserve, you know? It's like giving a fitness regime or like a what do you call it? The King of Swords is always my teacher card. Okay, so you guys are going to be a teacher of some kind. Like you're going to be doing aerobics, so teaching people how to do aerobics kind of thing. Could be something coming through for you guys. But Holy Amethyst, Divine Alchemy, move beyond current challenges, focus on what you desire. That, as well as your thoughts are magnetic and powerful, miraculous changes are occurring. You could be known for helping people manifest their lives, which is why I love how that quote came through for you guys, where if you're imagining it and craving it so badly in this time and place, in this timeline, it's because you already have it in another timeline. So you're craving it. You want to move forward really quickly, but it's just telling you, hey, it's coming, relax, right? For some people, because not everybody gets to experience a true deep love, but I feel like because it's coming through for you guys, you may be the select few who gets to experience that true love that everybody else wants and craves, okay? But with the Serapis Bay Ascension, you are going to have an ascension where you reach a point where you've moved into your truest self and you will rise above the darkness. And I love that because we have this as the last card, and then we also have the Empress energy, and she's the ultimate form you want to reach. The Emperor has to work too hard. The Empress gets whatever she wants. That's that manifestation energy. You're able to manifest whatever you want. That's something you learn, and that could be something you teach, something you sell to help others learn how to do it as well. Okay, we're going to get some last minute cards from here and see what else comes through for my group 3s. Okay. What will their legacy be? We have Lucky. Anytime this comes out, just know that the song Lucky by Jason Mraz, so he came through twice already. Jason Mraz and 𝐓𝐈𝐿𝐴 is going to come through. Do you hear me? I'm talking to you. Across the waters, across the deep blue ocean, under the ocean sky. Oh my, baby, I'm trying. Do you hear me? I'm hearing. I'm done. Tough it out. That's what's going to be your legacy. You learn to tough it out, but also make something of yourself. And we have Lucky, we have Unfolding, and we have Surprise. There's something about how your life turns out that surprises people, because Unfolding is continuously how something changes. So what happens after you go, while you're still here, in the midst of your life, whatever, there's something that's going to happen that's going to surprise people. They're going to be like, oh, wow. I didn't expect that from her. I didn't expect that from them. I didn't expect them to find true love and be happy and have their happy ever after. I didn't expect them to have 15 kids. I didn't expect them to make a TV show or write a book or something like that, you know? So maybe you kind of started off life as an underdog and you kind of came up really quickly behind the people who thought they were so far ahead of you. And you kind of like bridge that gap real quick. You're like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't think maybe you didn't finish high school, or you never went to school. Like, you're never going to have a career. Did the Kardashian sisters and them go to high school and go to college and all that? I don't really know, but I'm assuming they didn't. You know what I mean? I don't think Kylie and Kendall and them did, or maybe they're on the side and I just don't know. I know Kim went back to school, but I don't think many of them have like a college degree or anything, but they're freaking billionaires, child. Like, you're going to end up having a show, or like I said, something gets greenlit or piloted or whatever, and then people are going to be like, oh, I didn't expect that from them. Like, who is producing? Who made the show? And they're going to see your name. What? I went to high school with her. She wasn't going to be nothing. Da-da-da-da. And now they're mad, right? But anyway, yeah, because you have like a lucky break. Now we have cut ties, and that's definitely tying into people looking at you and saying, her? Never. She never did that. Blah, 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 blah. But I think it's because you cut ties with people that you were able to get this luck, okay? Now we have power. Yeah, you're going to be in a position of power, which is that like I said, unfolding and surprise coming. You're not going to expect it, but it's coming, right? Now we have power. No one man should have all that power. People are going to be thinking that about you. And now we have please stand by. So I'm here, just hold on. I'm coming home. Coming home. So please stand by. That's the energy coming through. For that card anyway. It's kind of like just wait a little bit longer. Just wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming through again, Hamilton. So maybe you could have like a lot of similar experiences to Hamilton. And look at how big he is now. Like, of course, he's not here to see it, but he made an impact on the world that he probably didn't know the time he was going to make, because he was so worried about not being a bastard orphan. You know what I mean? He wanted to prove himself so bad that he did some things he maybe shouldn't have done, but it ended up and placed him in a position where he was able to help people. He was able to help America by coming up with the, what is it called? The credit card system or the credit system. And he was a very smart man, like, ahead of his time is what I'm hearing. I feel like if he was born in today's time, he would have been able to do so much, but he did a lot for being someone that was born in the 1800s, child, okay, or maybe 1700s, because I think he died in the 1800s. Anyway, we have yeah. A very I don't give a F energy is what you're coming through as. I don't give a F. You can do whatever you want, say what you want to me, but I don't really care. Is a part of your legacy as well. And that's definitely the King of Swords. You can say whatever you want to him, but he really doesn't care. He brushes things off, right? Or he doesn't show a reaction. He could care, but his reaction, you would never see it on his face. You come through a little bit of a hound dog, a bulldog, scary, right? Could be coming through as well. Yeah, a little intimidating because the King of Swords is very intimidating. This please stand by is kind of giving me you're walking into a room or walking somewhere and people like parting the crowd for you to pass by because no one wants to get on your bad side. So you're the scary sister, friend, person that people, like I said, come to maybe help them fight people or fix their life. I'm hearing Iyanla fix my life kind of thing. So something about you just breeds hope and positivity and understanding and peace and maturity, right? Elegance is what I'm hearing as well. Power. That people can't just help but even think about you after you're gone and how to build upon that because your legacy doesn't end when you're gone. It continues is what I'm getting for you guys. Okay? Group 3. So I continued singing the song Lucky after I finished the reading, and I started singing Lucky I'm in love with my best friend. And it's funny how I was mentioning a lot about best friends and soulmates and soul families coming through. So you may be the lucky few people who meet a best friend and that becomes a soulmate, that becomes a lover. And that's kind of like your love story. Maybe people are going to be jealous by your love story. And you know what's coming through right now? Maybe your love story gets adapted into a movie later on in life, right? How people like Loving and Something, I believe, is like a case back in the days where they were the first interracial couple who like were able to get married, right? Because yeah, it's Loving versus Somebody. And they never thought their story would become like, you know, not worldwide known, but you know, it's pretty popular in America where all this segregation and BS keeps happening. But that's what's coming through for you guys. You meet your best friend, you're one of the lucky few, get to find your soulmate and lover and have a beautiful family and stuff like that, you know, and experience that true love, experience that happily ever after fairy tale romance. And that's what your legacy consists of. People saying, oh my gosh, they're so lucky to have that, they're so lucky to do that, they're so lucky to be that, you know what I mean? Even in the Khloe Kardashian's case, where she grew up being the black sheep, now she's the part of her family that she's a beautiful mother, she's a beautiful person, she loves, I hope she loves what she is, child, because she loves all that weight and all that kind of stuff. She like has all this money, she has, their family may be a little bit dysfunctional, but they're very close-knit, they're very beautiful. All that is kind of coming through where you just end up having the perfect life at the end of the day, no matter how much you went through, and people weren't expecting that for you, you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe that's coming through for you guys. But yeah, it's like I was singing, lucky I'm in love with my best friend, lucky to have been where I have been, lucky to be coming home again. I'm lucky we're in love in every way. I'm lucky to have stayed where I have stayed. I'm lucky to be coming home someday or something like that. But yeah, I just was singing the song after I was putting away the cards, and I'm like, wait, this is a part of the reading, this is a part of their message, you know, that people like, oh, you're lucky to have found that love or found that thing, or you know. And then like, but there's a big thing here about your love story. You could have written about it in diaries and stuff. It's giving Anne Frank how she wrote in her diaries and had no freaking idea how big she was going to become after she passed away. Look at that, after you passed away. Loving versus Virginia, or I don't know, they didn't know how popular their story would be until after they passed away. Hamilton didn't know how popular he was going to be until after he passed away. Yeah, it's definitely giving that. So I'm going to end your reading right here. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 4s. Welcome to your reading. If you chose today's reading, chose group 4, thumbnail image 4, you know the whole spiel. Then welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for giving me your time and your energy. Okay. And you see how I love how every group gives me a different vibe, because for your group, I'm very zen, very yogi master. Thank you for joining me here today, for putting yourself first, for putting your body first. It's kind of giving me one of the instructors that worked at the dance company that I don't really work for that location anymore, but I used to work with him. He was very much at the end of every dance, like, let's bring our hands together and put them on your heart and thank you for your body and thank your body for bringing you through this dance today, and be very mindful and thank the space for allowing you to be here, and then thank the people. Like, very much that kind of person. So very spiritual, very mindful, very open, very present. Can you move up the shit? You pissing me off. Sorry. Yeah, but you can still have your moments though. Relax. Or I can, because this is still me at the end of the day in my channel. But anyway, it's funny how this message came to be for you being someone. So the kind of legacy you're leaving behind is one of like helping people take care of their physical health. Like that's a big thing, okay? And there's a whole bunch of different synchronicities coming through for you as well. So we're gonna go through them. So usually when I film readings at work, I go back to back to back to back. I stop one, take a breath, start another one, take a breath, start another one. For this group in particular, after group 3, I'm like, nah, I need a breather. It wasn't that long of a breather, but I still took a breather. I got up, walked around, got some water, nibbled on some crackers, and I came and sat back down. And as I was on my phone, the first thing I went to was like Instagram, right? And the first thing this person's talking about, I follow an account called Cosmic Laundry. I think that's her full name. I'm not sure. But it's a girl who like specializes in human design, astrology, stuff like that. And she was talking about how she went to the doctor to check on her, like, there's something outside. Maybe you're a little freaking clairvoyant. You see things. But anyway, she went to the doctor to check her vitamin levels, and she was like, she was so sure that her iron levels were going to be so high because she's been feeling extra vital lately. She's been getting up, running around, working, going to the gym, eating more meat, and she thought her iron levels, which has been extremely low since she's been a child, were going to be high. So that's already strike 1. She's talking about her body. No, that's already strike 2, because me being more mindful and saying, okay, I'm going to take a break, get some water, walk around, and not just hop straight into another reading, because I want to be the best that I can be for you guys, to give you the best reading. Not even that. After, wait. This is going crazy right now. Hold on. Immediately after I checked off this reading, I went to my YouTube studio, and the first message or comment that I saw was a comment from someone who was commenting on a reading that I did like a few weeks ago, probably like a month ago already, because it's already May, Lord. And she was like, I see really low energy in that reading. And wow, I'm now noticing the synchronicities even more. This is crazy. But she's like, I seem to have really low energy during that reading, and I should be taking care of myself. And I'm like, yeah, girl. Even when I watched the video back, I'm like, girl, what are you even saying? I got lost, tongue-tied, and like just spaced out so many times, yawned so many times during that reading. I was tired, but I was, toughing it out. I was trudging through and still doing the readings. I wanted to get a reading out to you guys. And I replied to her, and I'm like, yeah, girl, you caught me, because I definitely was very tired. I was yawning. I remember that reading very clearly. Not everything that I said in it, but I remember the feeling of just like, is this almost over, but still wanting to be there because I love reading for you guys. I was tired, y'all. And I just remember, I'm like, it's funny how right now she commented back, and I stopped after group 3. Before getting into group 4, I felt the need to take a break. I took a break, went to the YouTube studio, tried to respond back to some comments and everything. And hers is the first comment I saw. Take better care of yourself. You need to. We love you. And I'm like, I love you too, sis, period. But then after that, I went to Instagram, and then I saw the video about the girl, and I didn't even connect it right then, even though I should have. But it took me a second. I'm connecting it now. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But she was talking about how she always had low iron levels, and she thought it was going to be better, but it wasn't. And she was like, most people neglect the physical part of being aligned with your body, right? So she felt aligned spiritually, that she was getting all this energy and all this kind of stuff, but your body also needs to be aligned with that, because your spiritual and body is together in this, right? As long as your soul's in your body, that's it. You know what I mean? You're together forever, Lynn and Heather, best friends. Yeah. Anyway, so she was like, how people need to start taking into consideration that your body needs just as much care as your spiritual health and all that kind of stuff. Boom. Strike 2. Then I got up, I think I went to use the bathroom. Then I went to go check out my phone. I'm like, let me sit down for a little bit. I drank some water. Then I'm like, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. Let me go get some crackers. I got some crackers. And then I was already formulating this message, right? And I'm like, okay, their message is going to be about how they're helping people with their health, okay? And I'm seeing 555. So a lot of change and transformation. So you do help people get into shape. Lord, what am I saying? You help them get fit, get into shape. But I come and sit down and I'm like, okay, I already know what their channel message is going to be before I even start the reading and start pulling cards. And then I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to see my health card. And if I would have shuffled on screen, you would have probably heard me scream. My health card is the temperance card, right? And it's because I was watching a reading with another reading, and they were like how the Hierophant, no, not the Hierophant, the temperance card gives them health, like physical health, and I've never forgotten that. So anytime I see that, I'm like, okay, this is like a physical health, your body's a temple kind of energy. And tell me why when I was freaking shuffling the deck, the temperance card at the bottom of the deck, I'm like, yeah, that's their message. That's it. That is it. That is all. Throw the cards away. There's nothing that needs to be said. But basically, the kind of legacy you're leaving behind is one of health, but you taking care of, you helping people take care of their physical health, not only their spiritual health, okay? So you're definitely giving me someone who's mindful of both. And we've had like people in other groups come through as people helping with their spiritual health, but you're coming through as someone who is helping people bridge that gap between I'm only worried about making sure my emotions are always in check and I'm like neglecting my body. You're helping people not neglect their body and become, better in alignment with all those things. So we are almost through the deck. We have the temperance card, okay? And we have an angel here. And temperance card is the health card. So I'm like, I wonder what card is. I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I wonder if I didn't get those messages before the reading. I wonder if I didn't get those messages during the reading, what I would have said if I wonder what card would have came out to signify it was health that you guys were going to be da-da-da-da. And maybe I don't really have many cards like that. So I was meant to take a break and see all of those messages before I started your reading. But anyway, we're here now. And health will be definitely the legacy you leave behind. And love, look at that. Taking care of yourself. Self-love is a thing. The Ace of Cups. Almost the Ace of Wands. So a lot of energy, a lot of love. But you help people kind of take care of themselves. Their inner temple, their heart, and their body, right? That's what's coming through for you guys. And I love how I split the deck. And it's the Ace of Cups and the Temperance card coming through here. So a lot of like peace and like, it's like giving nurse, doctor, yogi, practitioner, Reiki healer, that kind of thing. Bruh, let's start with me. Sound healing, physical trainer, like the guy I was mentioning, a dance instructor, that kind of thing. And Temperance just don't want to leave the bottom of the deck. Yeah. But anyway, I just love that whole backstory. Now, if you're still with me, I'm sorry for the whole rant, but I had to explain my thought process. But I usually don't take any time between readings, and I decided to take some today. Ate a few crackers, drank some water, because it's important to take care of your physical health, right? And I was like feeling a little lightheaded after group 3's reading, so it's kind of like perfect segue into your reading. Oh, Jesus Christ, group 4. Yeah, take a breather, take a rest. It's going to be your whole, what kind of legacy you leave behind. Teaches people to take care of their heart and their body, because that keeps coming through. And these are the exact same cards that came through for bloody group 4. So maybe some of you, group 3. So maybe some of you are coming from group 3, or I think these is like, this came from group 2, this came from group 3, okay. So maybe you felt called. Giving back is definitely going to be your thing. So maybe you're going to be known as a charitable person, the one who always helps someone in need, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking of, I don't even want to say it because I'm so ashamed of myself. I was walking home one day from work, and it was like getting dark outside, and I wanted to get home, and there was like this guy, this homeless guy who like fell over, and he was on crutches, and he was just laying on the ground, and people were like standing around and not helping him. And I was like coming upon him. I'm like, what's going on? Why is he just laying there? You know how sometimes in New York, well, if you don't live in New York, you may not understand, but sometimes you're walking in New York and you see weird things. And this, of course, the homeless people, sometimes they're very clear-minded and clear-headed, and then some of them are not, right? So I'm walking past this person. He has his crutches laid to the side of him, a bag next to him, like he fell. and he can't get up. There's guys, people passing by him. He fell by a building. People are walking in and out of the building. No one's helping him. And I'm just like, ugh, I wish somebody would help him. I wish somebody would help him so I wouldn't have to help him, because I'm just like, I don't want, first of all, me and homeless people don't business, okay? Because you never know if they're one of the sane ones, the crazy ones, the ones who are, gonna attack you, or you never know what's going on. So you have to be very careful. And I'm like, I want to help him so bad, but please somebody come and help him before me, so I don't have to feel bad for not helping him. Nobody came and helped him. I walked by him really slowly. I'm like, should I help him? But something's telling me, no, you're a female, a single female in New York. Anything can happen to you, and people are just standing around and not even helping him. So if he were to do something to you, no one's gonna help you either. And I'm like, sometimes you have to put your safety first above what you want. I'm walking to the train. I'm like, what would Jesus do? He wouldn't care if you were a beggar or something. What if that was Jesus on the floor? Wouldn't you want to help him? Like, just guilt tripping myself. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, and I get to the train station. The train is coming, and I'm like, I really gotta go. But I'm like, I keep being called back to go help that man. I didn't help that man. I feel so bad. But that's coming through. Maybe you feel really deeply and you like to help people, but I had to put me first. I had to. Like, I felt so, unsafe just stopping there and helping him up. And I'm like, I feel like he was also dragging it, because he could have gotten up by himself. But he was, just pretending, maybe wanting someone to come and help him up. And then, he could have came and stabbed you. And, so my intuition was, leave him alone. But my heart was, breaking every step I took away from that man. But, yeah, that's coming through. I don't like it. But you like to give back in that kind of way. And I'm like, if somebody else was helping him, I would have stepped up and helped him. But for me to be the only person helping that man get up, it didn't sit right with me. Now, we have the Three of Cups. That came through in group 3, honestly. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is, very much eating healthy. And is the kind of energy that comes through for her. She's very much body, grounded. Okay, so you're very much a root chakra girly or guy. A lot of pentacles coming through for you. We have 3 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups. So 2 6s coming through. And 6 always gives me soft, compassionate, sweet kind of energy. So you're very soft, compassionate, and sweet. And that's something that people think of people are going to think of when they think of you. That's the kind of legacy you're leaving behind. One of someone who's very giving, okay? Someone who likes to form bonds. People who help people form communities is what I'm hearing. Or you bring people together to form a community is kind of vibe that I'm getting. So if you run a studio for health classes, you're bringing those people together to find community through weightlifting or yoga or bodybuilding or weight training or dancing, those things. You're bringing people together through those mediums, okay, to help better take care of their body. And you could add a spiritual air to it, because the dance company that I work for, they don't really make mindfulness. I mean, they do have a dance RX thing now. And that help people be more mindful, more yoga included, more taking your time. And, breathing through the stuff is something they're trying to incorporate now. So maybe they are getting more spiritual, but the instructors are not instructed to be, spiritual and now come together and breathe it out and thank your body for, getting you through this dance, and now thank the space for, they're not usually like that, but he is. And that's the kind of energy that I'm getting. So you're bridging the gap between body and spirituality, if that makes any kind of sense. Yeah. Giving people money to eat healthier is the energy coming through. Giving people tips on how to eat healthier. Like I said, the 6 of Pentacles is the charity card. So you're that energy is big for you. So you're definitely giving the... Were you not done? Jeez. Good Samaritan. Yeah. Sorry. The Good Samaritan, the person that's always helping someone. You have a soft heart, that kind of thing. Sometimes too soft. You love women, children, animals, stuff like that, with these kids coming through, because we have a kid coming through here and we have a dog coming through here. So kids and animals, that kind of thing. 4 of Swords representing meditation in your reading. It did come through in group 3 for a different reason. 3 of Cups came through in group 3 as well, but for a different reason as well. But 3 of Cups is definitely giving you build community. So you're gonna be known as someone who brought a bunch of people together, okay? We we have the Queen of Pentacles, and she's definitely like a very cool, mature, responsible, stable, has their life together in every kind of way adult. She sits in the park and breathes in the wind and breathes in the noise, and she just like takes deep breaths all the time. She takes care of her physical vessel. She cleans every crack and crevice. She lotions her body, you know what I mean? She puts on this head turban to protect her crown chakra, like, so very spiritual but also very earthy kind of vibes coming through for you guys. That's the kind of vibe we're going to be giving. It's giving Khalees. Honestly, it's giving Erykah Badu. It's giving Lauryn Hill. Those three figures are coming through. There's also somebody else is coming through. Anne-Marie or Erica Marie. I will always be the India Ari. India Ari. Not me butchering her name. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad that song came through, because if it didn't, I would not have got her name. Giving India Ari, that kind of thing. You teach people how to, use crystals for their own purposes and metaphysical purposes, that kind of thing. You're definitely, that's the legacy you're leaving behind. So one of in a spiritual nature, okay? I don't remember. That didn't come through for group 2. I mean, it did kind of. Well, it doesn't matter what other group it came through for. You're group 4. And you're giving, like I said, bridging the gap between spirituality, mental, spiritual, religious, whatever, and then the body, okay? And here we have the Tower in reverse. So maybe you help people come back from the edge. I'm hearing, ooh, this is the end. Close your eyes and count to 10. When the sky falls, let it tumble. You will stand tall and face it all together. When the sky falls, when the sky falls. I'm done. I'm sorry. That's such a good song, though. Adele's Skyfall, it was made for the James Bond movie, so you're very good with your body. Moving your body, maybe you're a stunt double, like I said, helping other people move their body better. You're a weight trainer, fitness trainer, nutritionist, doctor, stuff like that. But that song goes so hard, especially when she reaches the chorus and people are like, it's building. So she's like by herself. We will stand tall and face it all together when the sky falls. Then more people come in. When the sky falls and it tumbles. I'm just like, here, Adele can do no wrong. Oh my gosh, but I'm done. That's kind of coming through. Like, you bring people together through song, through music, through spirit. That kind of energy is coming through very strongly for you guys, okay? Maybe you sing, right? And you bring people together through that. But yeah, I don't know if that song was coming through. And then there's another song that was coming through as well. I'm back from the edge, I'm back from the dead, I'm back from when demons took control of my head. I'm back to the start, I'm back to my heart, I'm back to the something you couldn't tear us, something like that. Tear us apart. What's the name of it? It's by James Arthur. Is it Back from the Edge? Back from the Edge is the name of the song. So Skyfall's coming through, Back from the Edge. So you're definitely giving, you bring people back from the brink of maybe the point of no return, maybe. And also, wait, I completely forgot and blanked on something. So in the beginning of the reading, I was talking about all the signs and synchronicities that kind of told me you would be known for something in the health, bracket sector. As soon as I ended the reading, I started playing music to kind of like get my mind off of things, sing along to it, clear the energy of group 3. And the song that I had playing before I even started your reading, before I even finished work, because I had paused the music, was Sober by Pink. I feel the party's over, nothing can touch me. Sober by Pink, that song was playing, and I kept playing it at the end to get music. Then I got up and did all other things that I mentioned. So like I said, health was always coming through. And as soon as I saw Sober, I was like, that is what really told me what your reading was going to be about. I'm so sorry. I'm like real scatterbrained today, but that really said, I'm like, oh wait, As soon as I open my phone and go to the music app, I see Solar by Pink. I'm like, okay, there, boom, that's the topic of their reading. Then I went to the app and saw the comment and take care of your body and yourself. Then I went to Instagram and saw the girl talking about how she thought because her spiritual levels were so high and her energy was so high that her body would also be mirroring that same thing. She's like, no, our body and our spiritual nature are in tune, right? But just because one is feeling good doesn't mean the other is feeling good as well, right? So take care of your body. Then I got up, drank some water, ate some crackers, came back and sat down. The fact that I don't ever take a break during between readings said something about taking care of yourself, and you're going to help people do that. Take care of themselves, okay? Lord. Okay. Anything else for my group 4s, please, Spirit? What is the legacy they're leaving behind? You definitely take care of others. I'm hearing a good friend as well. Here we have the 7 of Swords in reverse. You're very transparent, very honest. As soon as this card came out, I was taken to the example of how some people say they don't trust their doctors, because once you go to like a real... I'm hearing Living Good. That's a doctor that's been playing. I was watching YouTube, don't tell nobody, during work, because I was like doing mindless work and I was just like playing it in the background. And every freaking commercial has I've been meaning to make a post about this. Is anybody else getting so annoyed by YouTube's long ASS ads? What happened to the 5-second ads, 50-second ads, maybe a minute ad? Every single ad now is like 3, 4, 5 minutes from when I'm watching it. And I'm like, I know I can't be the only one. And I'm like, y'all pissing me off because y'all making people not want to stay and watch the ad and support their small YouTubers. Y'all want them like, oh, and there's been like 22-minute ads, 30-minute ads. I'm like, buddy bum, yo, stop playing, YouTube. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Get it together. Because you're making people not want to stay and support and bring up that ad revenue for the people they're watching like that. Y'all sick. You're sick. Exactly. You're sick, and here my group 4 is coming to tell them about themselves. Thank you, group 4. But I'm like, anybody else getting pissed off by YouTube's long ASS ads lately? Sure. Anyway, how doctors be lying to you and like, so about 3-4 times today during multiple videos, there's this guy like Dr. Living Good, and how he said he left the healthcare profession. He was a doctor, but he quit because the healthcare industry is not about health and keeping people healthy. It's about keeping them sick so they keep coming back for medication and stuff like that. I don't know how unsketchy I consider him to be, but since I thought of him with the 7 of Swords in reverse, maybe I'll get his book. So I'm like, all these people on YouTube just selling stuff. Like, anybody want to just watch that or buy that? But the book was free. But they want you to put in your address. Like, what do you mean? Why can't you just send me an ebook copy? I don't trust you. Okay. I'm not just giving you my address on some random site like people ain't be scamming Tarati these days. Nah, get out. But anywho, yeah, you are someone people could trust. Unlike these doctors out there. So it's giving maybe holistic healing. Maybe it's giving doula. That's the kind of legacy you leave behind. People who want natural births and natural healing, okay? You get your little herbs and remedies. You study the old medicine, the old ways is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the old country. Like before everything became so technological, you go back to the old ways of healing certain things, okay? And that's what's coming through for you guys. So, yeah. I'm just still stuck in these damn YouTube ads. They pissing me off. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't have to wind up yourself. I'm done. Yo, this is the chaotic reading. Okay, let me ground myself because I may need some of y'all expertise because I just be here, there, and everywhere during these readings. And that's not what I'm saying. It's like, take it easy. I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. So maybe that's something coming through for you as well. People know when they're with you, they don't have to do a lot. You kind of maybe take care of them, get them their food, get them their water, you baby them, make sure everything's all good. A little bit of group 3 coming through as well. Like I said, a little bit of group 1 and 2, a little bit of all the groups coming through. But there's a reason you chose group 4. And those things are coming through. And those things are coming through anyway, okay? But anyway, 7 of Swords is definitely giving, and I'm hearing, I wanted to 7 of Cups. So there could be something here about you having options. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the 7 of Swords in reverse, people trust you with their health and well-being more than they would trust anybody else, right? That's the vibe that's coming through for you guys. Anything else is coming through? Like I said, you bring people together. I think I mentioned that already. Kids and animals are important for you. Four of Swords is an energy of healing, so that's going to be your job or your legacy. It's going to be a legacy of healing, okay? Don't want to keep repeating myself. This reading doesn't have to be long. I can move on. I'm like, by this time when I was getting onto these cards for group 2 and group 3, we were already like 40 minutes in. God bless anybody that can sit here and watch me talk for 40 minutes. Love you. Okay. And look, and I was talking about animals. At the bottom of the deck, we have dog, which is loyalty and determination. Okay. Oh, Lord. Look at that. Look at me in shape. Let me stop. I can't take myself seriously sometimes, bro. Like the boobs came to the rescue and said, oh, no. That could be something you're going to be... Oh, Lord, help me. I can't. You're going to be known for maybe having big boobs and being able to, like, stop stuff with your boobs. That's a talent right there. What do you mean? I'm like, look at me in shape. Like, I just have really good reflexes. That could be something you guys have as well. Like, snake-like reflexes. I can catch things really quickly, you know? It's like I have spidey senses and I know when stuff was going to fall. And I just moved up and caught it before it fell. But anyway... Oh boy. Y'all could be very funny, very chaotic as well. Just because you're helping people heal doesn't mean you can't do it in like a fun way. You're very fun. And we have ships, directions, journeys. So you're going to be giving kind of like life coach vibes. Nutritionists, you're giving people directions to follow to become their better self, okay? On their journey through life is the vibe that I'm getting. And the Six of Pentacles, like I keep hearing money to buy better food. Maybe you're encouraging people to like splurge just a little bit to buy the better food. You know what I mean? I'm hearing less is more could be a thing coming through in whatever capacity. I don't think if you're buying, I mean, yeah, you do get less food if you spend more money on it, or you buy the more expensive food, you're going to get less bang for your buck. But maybe there's something here about not having to eat a lot of the good food for it to change your life in the way where you have to, you know how like some foods get you full and you stay fuller for longer when they're more expensive than the cheap fast food that you buy. You're hungry like 2 hours later, or I am anyway, and it kind of like runs through you. So maybe help people with digestive problems, abdominal problems, what do you want to call it? Intestinal problems, that, you know, gastrointestinal problems, you know, IBM. There's also something that I learned. There was a book that I was reading, and the lady in the book had, is it Lyme disease? It could be Lyme disease. I don't think it was that. There's another one. But there's some kind of disease that, like, it's like you have really bad intestinal syndrome, and sometimes your bowels will loosen without you knowing. You always have to be next to a bathroom, and sometimes you could end up being hospitalized by that same Crohn's disease, is it? It could be Crohn. I don't think it was Lyme. It could be Lyme disease. Some of you could have that, but you're helping people solve those things they think are like terminal. You're helping them solve them, or not have to deal with the fallout, or not having to deal, sorry if that was loud, not having to deal with the fallout for as long as they would if they kept eating crappy and stuff like that. Because in the book, she was telling the person she was with that she had either Crohn's or Lyme disease. I think it's Crohn's. And it's like, it's irritable, because I do believe a subscriber of mine had commented, hold on, on under a reading saying because she like wouldn't really speak up or something, that's how you kind of develop Crohn's disease, holding a bunch of things back. And like, you know, when you get nervous to say something or not say something, it makes your tummy all, you know, twisted and everything. So I believe because of that, or it could just be genetic. I don't freaking know how it works. I'm not a doctor like some of you could be. Because of those things, they developed Crohn's disease. And now in the book, she was like hospitalized for not eating healthy, or for like having a flare up or something like that. And people think it's not a bad disease, but it's a disease like any other disease. It comes and goes, and it affects your everyday life, right? So, and she's like ashamed to tell the person, oh, I have, so maybe you have one of those diseases, you know, and it's something that you kind of regulate, and you help others to do the same thing. So everyone here may not have the same problem or disease or whatever, but based on what you have, you help others learn to, deal with it, manage it is what I'm hearing, okay? So we have that coming through. So you're going to be giving people directions to help better manage their, health, just in general, whether it's an actual disease or just their health. The next card we have is Wolf, Cunning, and Stealth. This did come through in group 2 once again. So some of you could have called it group 2, for real. But Cunning and Stealth, yeah, you see what I heard with that is how some doctors like go over other people's heads and tell their patients the cold hard truth that other doctors may not tell their patients. So, for example, there was the TikTok video that I was watching. Let me get the last card from this deck before I just go on another chatting session. See how I keep... Let me stop. And this is like giving exercise. Okay, I'm done. Y'all are going to be sick of me. Okay. Anyway, there's this content creator who has I don't know if he has HIV, but I saw him on TikTok saying how all the people who voted for Trump, there's a reason why people don't like y'all, because y'all voted against the people. Y'all voted against healthcare. Y'all voted against women's rights. Y'all voted against human rights. And because of that, people things are going to get so much worse before they get any better. His vibe was coming through. And he was basically his doctor or his pharmacist pulled him aside and said, maybe you should stock up on this HIV preventative pill or management pill, because Trump's administration is going to discontinue it for whatever reason. They just feel like it. They don't really know why. And this is something that he said is keeping millions of people safe from it or their disease regulated for whatever reason. And Trump just doesn't want it to be, they want it to be discontinued, right? And he's like, that's why when people go crazy or will never forgive or want nothing to do with people who voted for that man, it's because of stuff like this. He wants to get rid of pre-K. He wants to get rid of 40-hour work days. He wants to get rid of contraception. They want people to have kids, and then the kids not going to be in pre-K. They're cutting your hours. What kind of life is that? He wants to get rid of the Board of Education. He upped the tariffs. Now he wants to get rid of this supplement that's helping millions of people regulate their HIV or prevent it from what the hell? What are you doing, sir? It's not making any sense. And y'all voted for this man for what? They're getting rid of the ban or pause on student loans. So now everybody gonna have to start paying their student loans again. I hated Biden so much, but was all these things happening though? It makes no sense. Y'all didn't want to vote for Biden. They put Biden on the back burner. Kamala wanted to come in when the freaking election campaign was almost bloody over. Nobody wanted to vote for a woman. Y'all knew nobody was gonna vote for a black woman, and now we're stuck with Trump. Thanks, America. Piss me let me stop. Anywho, but that's the video that's coming through, and the guy was like, I'm so glad that he pulled me aside because he didn't have to. And it was another gay man, I believe it was. He pulled me inside and said, you may want to stock up on this or figure out another, way because, or another solution, because they're going to discontinue this medication. And now millions of people are at risk of potentially dying because this man wants to take away this medication for why? For what? Piss me off. Anyway, we have Old Woman, Sadness, Female. I do believe you bring, or you allow, or you provide, is the better word. You provide a place for people who are sad and melancholic to come and feel included and safe somewhere, right? Maybe some of you could be therapists out there. You talk to kids, or you do animal therapy, something that's coming through as well, very specifically, or dance therapy and stuff like that. And you kind of help people. And now I want to touch my face. I look in the mirror and a blemish popped up out of nowhere. And I'm where this came from? That's why I don't put too much stuff on my face. People say, oh, put on sunscreen and put on this and put on that. And that's what I did today. And now my skin's breaking out. That's why I just leave her alone and she'd be fine. I put on toner, serum, moisturizer, and then I put on sunscreen over all of that. And now I got 2 new breakouts or blemishes, whatever you want to call them, bumps. Don't like that. When I usually just wake up, wash my face, and put on moisturizer and leave it at that. I'm trying to be fancy and all this kind of stuff, and now look at my skin. She's objecting. And I hate seeing blemishes, especially like, not to, take away from anyone who like gets them a lot, but you're used to them. When you like are not used to blemishes, they pop up. It's so annoying. Like, what do you mean my perfect face is gone? Let me stop. But no, for real though, like you could help people regulate that or get rid of blemishes or eat healthier. It could have been something I ate as well. I don't think so. I think it was the sunscreen that I used today. It was like very greasy and oily, and then my skin, like my pores would have been clogged. So maybe I shouldn't use that sunscreen. That's why I stopped using that sunscreen. And I have so many other ones. I got the new 𝐓𝐡𝐮𝐲 one from Sephora probably about to be a month ago, and I still haven't used it. That is my problem. I buy things and don't use them. But I have other sunscreen, but I want to use that one. It's the Black Girl sunscreen. But it's the one that like moisturizes. But it's been leaving like a hard, greasy film over my skin all day. And now I'm seeing these blemishes pop up and now I'm upset. But anyway, like I was saying, you could help people like get clear skin, get glass skin, donut skin, whatever, glazed donut skin, whatever you want to call it. People who are just sad, you help kind of boost their adrenaline is what I'm hearing. Boosted my adrenaline. Mask off. Mask off. Why am I acting so weird? Maybe you're going to be known for being like very quirky, And here I was worried about your reading being short and we're already about to be, okay, let me, I didn't even go over dolphins. Playfulness and cooperation is coming through as well. So you're definitely someone's going to be known. I was too busy freaking ranting about Trump busted behind. But anyway, we have playfulness and we have cooperation. So yeah, with this and sadness, female and cunning and stealth, you're kind of like undermining the healthcare industry to give people the information they need, or you're combining healthcare and spirituality to create like a kind of hybrid way of listening to the modern health or Western health, and also involving spirituality in that as well, and making people healthier, happier, that kind of thing is coming through for you guys. Let's see what else comes through. But with this direction and journey, I'm getting you're leading people in a new direction. Like they've been going one way the whole time. You're kind of rerouting them. So the first card we have for you is Paul the Venetian. He's been trying to come out for every reading now. Paul, what's the problem? Somebody's name could be Paul. You could know Paul. Paul could be important to you. We have experiencing grace. I just had I've been talking too much. I've been too chatty in a few of these groups here. Okay? Because the reason why I'm saying that your name could be Paul, you could know somebody named Paul, is because I was doing a reading about like, are you their type or something? And I was watching the reading and like a song came through. And then I was like asking the person who wrote the song, like, why you so-and-so, why you said that, just for me to realize the person I'm watching the reading for is that exact namesake. I'm like, the way I almost threw my phone, I'm like, yeah, guys, I'll be watching my readings back, okay? I don't know if that makes me conceited or whatever, but I know I'll be telling the truth and I could trust myself as a reader. So I'm like, do the readings and then I watch them back and I choose a pile and see what resonates, and it resonated so crazy. I'm like, you know what? You doing something right to myself. But why am I like, I was bugging out because you know what's crazy to me? So synchronicities can be a big thing for you guys. That's also something like people see you say something and then all of a sudden, or you confirm a lot of synchronicities for them. But you could say something and they see it coming and happening many times over, because first of all, like I said, just to even get to this reading about the health, so many things happened before that for me to get to this point. So maybe you're going to be known as someone who did a lot of things to get to a certain point. You know what I mean? Or you took a lot of steps to get there, or you're being very careful and stealthy and cunning in order to get to where you've been. You've had to be that way. And that's something that could be coming through. But I did are you their type reading so long ago, last week before the week was over. And then a few days later, I did what kind of husband will your future spouse be? Or what kind of future spouse will your husband be? Whatever you want to call it. Or how will you view them as a husband, right? I did that reading, but I posted that one before. Okay? So, okay, let me just clarify this so you can understand what I'm saying. I did a reading about what kind of wife will you be to your future spouse, how they view you as a wife, okay? Then I did a reading about are you their type? And then I did the what kind of husband will your future spouse be in your eyes, right? And then, but when I ended up posting them, I usually post them in order, but I posted the are you their type on Monday instead of Friday, like I was planning to. Lo and behold, over the weekend, I meet a cute guy, right? And that's kind of my business. But I meet a cute guy, and I meet him on Saturday, a day after I was supposed to post the Are You Their Type reading, but I don't post it for whatever reason. I don't feel called to. And then Monday, I post the reading and I watch it Tuesday, which is today. Or I watch it yesterday, whatever you want to call it. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, is this why I didn't feel called to post it today? Because I was supposed to post it. Is this why I didn't feel called to post it Friday? Because I was supposed to post it Monday. Because it wouldn't have made sense to maybe a whole bunch of people but me if I posted it on Friday. Because I didn't meet the guy until Saturday. It's just real mind-blowing stuff. You get people thinking about the craziest synchronicities. Like, I just met this person and their name is this. And then I watch a video and their name it comes through. And I never usually say very specific names. I've never heard a commenter say, oh my gosh, you actually said their name until that video. And I'm like, I just met this guy and I mentioned his name in the exact bloody reading that I'm like, wait. I had the craziest sense of like, is this a real world? Am I sleeping? Am I awake? So I'm like, why did I say that name? And I said it 3-4 times. I'm like, what? I didn't know this guy when I did this reading. It's just so crazy, guys. It's crazy to me. But that could be the kind of energy you give like a mind FUCK vibe to people. Because they're kind of like, how did you know that I should eat this kind of herb every day to lower my blood cholesterol? How did you know I should eat meat just only once a month in order to decrease my, cholesterol or sugar and whatever? I'm not a health girl. I don't really know all those. I mean, I've seen enough videos right now. I should think I know a good amount. But it's just like you said, if they did something, it was going to happen, and then it happened. And it's not in like a tarot reader told you you're going to meet this guy and you met him. It's like you're a regular person. They've never heard of this method before. They come to you, they ask you, what should they do? You tell them what they should do, and then it works. And they're like, what the heck? I've never heard of this method. Like, how did you know? And you're just like, I don't know, I just heard it maybe one day, or I've studied it, or I'm being very cunning and stealthy and stealing secrets from one business and taking it to another one. Like, something like that is coming through, But anyway, I just feel like I've been so all over the place this reading. I hope you guys are still with me. If you are, put a dove, if that's even a bird, or a star or something in the comments, so I know you're still with me. But yeah, Paul of Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. And I love how at the beginning of the reading, we had the Ace of Cups, right? And then we had Temperance. So you're definitely someone's like very balanced, You do all things in moderation. You're not too much of one thing and too little of another thing. You're just like a very overall well put together human being, right? You're the kind of person how I remember like when I was younger, my mom used to want us to be like healthy so bad because we were always chunky kids. Like I was never a skinny person. I was always a bigger baby, bigger girl, like since I was young to now, child. And my mom would always try to like make us eat healthier, and we would for the most part. But she would always say, everything comes in moderation. And I ended up hating that word so bad. I still do in my adulthood because she just said it so much. And I'm like, I'm a little child. Stop talking about moderation. I'm not supposed to be knowing nothing about moderation. These are my wild youth years. Like, I can do moderation when I'm older, is my viewpoint on it. And I'm like, you keep saying moderation. Leave me alone. Let me be a child. How about that? Is what I was feeling. So I hate the word moderation, but that's what I think of when I think of temperance. And that's like, doing things in moderation. Too much of one thing is always a bad thing, some things anyway. When it becomes addictive and a vice, then it's too much of a good thing, right? But it's kind of like you do things in moderation and people kind of appreciate that, okay? But you're a very graceful person. You're very kind. You're giving kindred spirit. I've known you before. You're a ancestor who looks very kindly. Their face is very warm and soft, and people just trust you very easily. Is the vibe coming through for you guys? Okay. So what is the legacy of my group fours? I feel like I'm just chatting now. Like we're just having a FaceTime sesh. What up? But yeah, you make people feel safe enough to do that, to open up and tell you all their troubles. And based on the story that they gave you or based on what they told you, you're able to give them the perfect solution for how to help them, you know? Whether it's like, you know, a medicine to take or more food to eat or a supplement to get rid of. And you're like, oh, it's because you do too much of that. You know, a really perfect analysis is what I'm getting. Or a breakdown of what could be wrong, what they're doing wrong, and feedback to how to make it better. It's a vibe coming through. Now we have Gaia, Earth connection to Earth, and that's what I was getting with the Queen of Pentacles, right? The Erykah Badu's, the India Aries, they're just like very natural. The Khaleesi's, because I remember she's like very much on like natural stuff. She lives on a farm somewhere. Like she just turned from like rapper or singer or whatever. She used to be an artist. I think Kelly says, my milkshake brings other boys to the yard. She went from being raunchy like that to being like this very wholesome Earth Mother energy, right? And that's something that you could have done. You could have had that arc of being a crazy wild child to being someone like more mature. And that could be your legacy. You became more mature, you know? you just always were mature. It could be either or. But you always come through with someone who's very graceful, well put together. You have your life together. That could be something coming through, whether it's true or not. Cunning and stealth could also mean you like to keep certain things private, okay? But with Mother Gaia Earth connection, be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth, stay grounded. It's giving that humanitarian vibe that I was getting for you earlier. You care about children, you care about animals, you care about people, you care about Earth, right? So that's the kind of energy coming through, because you are the Queen of Pentacles, and we're not surprised. Whether you're a masculine or a feminine, it doesn't matter. You care about Mother Earth. Now we have Master Buddha, and it's increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. That's what I'm hearing. Like, people are asking you, how did you know that I should take that? And you're like, I just heard it, you know? I heard through the grapevine is what I'm hearing as well. So you're like a one big ball of information. You're kind of like the World Wide Web, where people are like, oh, what should I use for that? Boom, you tell them something. What can I do for this? Boom, you tell them something. And people are like, how did you know? I just heard it once, and I'm parroting it back to you, right? But I also tried it to make sure it's tried and true, not just telling you random stuff to do is what I'm hearing as well. But yeah, trust your inner voice. And even sometimes it could be just messages from spirit this person receives, and that's how they're meant to help the collective, by not doing tarot readings, by helping people with their health, you know what I mean? And then we have Mary Magdalene Teacher Awakens. And it's funny how one of the first things I mentioned is an instructor, which is someone who teaches dance at my dance company that I work for. But I'm not working here or doing readings. We have Teacher Awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. So the way you go after what you want with this cunning and stealth of what I'm getting, even when you're sad, even when you don't want to, maybe you incorporate some playfulness into it. But like I said, you're giving, I give back, I care about humanity. Okay, especially with 6 of Cups and 6 of Pentacles. Like I said, there's a softness, a givingness, a really pureness to the number 6 when it comes to tarot cards for me anyway. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get these cards and see what else comes through. You have very kind eyes. That's going to be the legacy you leave behind as well. People say you had kind eyes. You were someone people could trust, that always had their best intentions at heart. You were marriage material, you were wife material, mother material, with Mother Gaia coming through and Queen of Pentacles. You were a great mother. Okay, you were a great cook is what I'm hearing as well. Ring, ring, ring. Somebody wanted to wife you up. You were a great wife or husband. You know? What kind of legacy are my group 3s leaving behind, please, Spirit? What kind of legacy are they leaving behind? Please, Spirit. Ooh, my neck is stiff. We have Bullseye. So maybe everything you do, like, you achieve it. You could have been an overachiever in school. You get a lot of awards, accolades, you know what I mean? Whatever you put your mind to, you're able to fulfill it. And that's something a lot of people can do. And that's that cunning and stealth coming through. You could have persevered through sadness, through deep sadness. Maybe you struggle with anxiety, depression, stuff like that. Mental health disorders. And based on how you live your life and the things you did or do, you're going to be able to regulate those things and help other people do the same thing, you know? Like I said, it's giving healthcare professional. You help people deal with mental illness, physical illness, both of them is what I'm hearing. Spiritual illness as well. Here we have, what card flipped over? We have love. We have ring, 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 and we have love. I didn't really get a big vibe of love here. honestly. But love, you're gonna be known. Maybe you just love people as they are. It doesn't always have to be romantic love, right? That compassion, softness of heart is coming through. You are just the embodiment of love. And then we have twist of fate. Is there another card here that was giving me that? No, I don't think so. Maybe shift directions, journey. Maybe you change your path a lot in your life, but you always found the correct destination. Is the vibe. Like you always end up right where you're supposed to be. So maybe you thought you dealt with or you will deal with a lot of misdirections, but it's gonna ultimately lead you to where you were meant to be, right? And that's the kind of energy that's coming through. Full circle moments, the world energy coming through, where you finally reach the end of a cycle and you're like, oh, this is what all this is for, you know? That could be something coming through as well. Your mindfulness. And it's funny how I love how those women that I mentioned, like Erykah Badu and India Ari and Khalees and, you know, Lauryn Hill, they're all about helping the youth and women in particular love themselves for who they are, you know, take care of themselves. That kind of energy, you know, empower women, keep them woke and aware of certain things. You know, Lauren about relationships, Khalees and Erykah Badu and India Ari are about your spiritual health and loving you are who you are. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm not the average girl from your video. You know what I mean? She's like, but I'll always be who, me, the India Ari, the India Ari. Okay, get it together and say my name right. Okay? That's the vibe coming through for you guys, okay? So there's something here, like I said, about you becoming more mature or more sure of yourself that makes people like, oh, wow, yeah. That's how you're going to be known. That's the kind of legacy you're leaving behind. As someone who lived a full life, it was full of love. It was full of laughter. It was full of accomplishments. It was full of twists and turns. It was full of kids. It was full of animals, definitely, okay? And you were just always giving off a very trusting, warm energy. No one ever thought that you had nefarious intentions. The way some people who may not have nefarious intentions can be, you know, taken as. People who, you know, could be nice and whatever, but they're coming in a different way than you are. People are like, oh no, they don't have my best intentions at heart, but you do. And that's the vibe you always give off, okay? Whew, is that everything that I'm getting for you guys? This flask of love is always giving me like love in a bottle, self-love as well. And that's what was coming through with the Ace of Cups. Learning how to heal yourself and love yourself could be something that's going to be a big thing for the kind of legacy you leave behind. That could have been the biggest thing you have to learn in life, to love yourself. And it's going to be something that you do learn eventually, is what I just heard. But this is like a chemical. You're mixing all these things together, right? You're finding the perfect concoction to literally brew love. Is not something I ever really thought of when I look at this card, but it's coming through right now. You literally found the perfect concoction to brew love. You drink it, you find it. And that's the self-love, the potion, the whatever you give people to help them feel better, look better, that kind of thing, okay? So, and this is also giving me energy work as well, because if you can see how he has now, I think I can see that. His hand is like creating this energy, and I do believe this is like a red, so root chakra energy vibes. And then even in this Mary Magdalene card here, we have her surrounded by all this red. So getting people out of their head and in their bodies could be a thing as well. Through exercise, food, stuff like that. A specific program you end up creating or making. And you always hit it on the head every single time. Because you could have multiple programs, multiple medications, multiple, you know what I mean, communities of people or jobs as well as something that's coming through. You could be someone who's an advocate for the animals, who's an advocate for women, who's an advocate for kids, and those are all your passions, and you give your full energy to each and every one of those projects, and you're always hitting the nail on the head. You're always succeeding. Whenever you throw something, it's getting bullseye, you know? It's the kind of energy coming through. Okay, so I'm going to stop chatting. I've been talking too much today. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, maybe you are someone who's like very clean, well put together. You could have a house in nature. You are known for wearing, you're going to be known for wearing neutrals. Is something coming through as well. Or turbans. But yeah, I'm sorry. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye.